Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shadowcasters Network. I'm Oz, and today we're playing the Leverage tabletop RPG, and it's our very first official session. You may have seen our session 0 2 weeks ago, where we built our characters together and did a little bit of a mini run so that we could get ourselves used to the system. But we're going to go ahead and take it as though this is your first time here, as though it's the pilot episode of a new reboot of Leverage. So let's begin by introducing our players, and then we'll go ahead and hop into the actual game. So I'm going to go around. Scrim.
Hi, I am Scrim. Tonight I get to play Marika, and yeah, that's it for me.
Okay.
The plugs later, I'm sure.
Did you say Bub?
I did say Bub.
Perfect. That's me. I'm Bub, and I am playing Dean. I will be everyone's favorite, mostly clothed hitter.
Sabrina.
Hi all, I'm Sabrina, and I am playing Sloan. I am our fabulous hacker, and I'll be getting us out of some sticky situations, hopefully, with some gadgets.
And Bobby.
Hello, I'm Bobby, and I'm playing Clementine, and I am the grifter for the team. Thanks for calling me out on that.
Double check.
And just as scatterbrained as I am is Clementine, but she knows how to put on the charm when it's needed in order to get what they need from their mark.
Excellent.
She does.
All right. So let's go ahead and just get started, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's set some nice mood music here. Yeah. Wait. Let's do a. All right.
Okay.
So, there's a shot of a skyline next to an ocean, and zooming in, and on the bottom there's a typeface in typewriter font that says Miami, Florida, and camera zooms in whoosh, onto a Art Deco hotel on Ocean Drive, adjacent to the beach. It's a one-way road that is always packed with cars and with people, street-side restaurants and cafes, and palm trees and beach bunnies, and music. And we zoom up to the rooftop, where we pass a sign that says a very nicely stylized neon light sign that says the Orange Grove Rooftop Bar. And I think we zoom in very much like the very first episode of actual Leverage on a glass being raised from the bar. And I think let's start with the owner of our bar, Clementine.
Well, Clementine doesn't own the bar, but she might as well. She definitely acts like she owns the bar. She's been going to the Orange Grove for as long as she can remember. Ever since she moved to Miami, she became pretty well acquainted with the owner, and this is where she is comfortable and in her element and happiest. But she's sitting up there sipping on a gin and tonic and enjoying the sea air as it blows through her luxurious blonde curls, and she's just very relaxed.
Excellent. And hold on, I wanted to show you guys this. I found a picture of an actual rooftop bar in Miami that I really like, that I felt fit the mood and tone that I wanted to go. So yeah, the Orange Grove is a classy place, but it's not so, like it's classy and but approachable. Yeah,
just
it's got like
just like Clementine.
yeah, so it's got like, wood paneling kind of floors and like, white seating, gives kind of like an upscale cabana feel, and then kind of moves into an industrial looking bar in the middle. Very classy industrial. So you're sipping your gin and tonic, and the remaining team is going to I guess we'll have the rest of the team introduce themselves and what they're doing here at this bar. We're waiting for a client that has a job for you.
I think Marika is next to Clementine at the bar. There's a seat between them. She is sipping on straight vodka, and she's compulsively checking her phone because this person is a little bit late.
And how did
She
you
looks
describe
impatient. So she has dark blonde hair with some gray streaks in it. She's a very compact, small woman, and she is dressed very, very conservatively. Sort of looks like a businesswoman. Very little makeup.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dean, what are you up to?
Dean's probably sitting closest to the as close to the ocean as he possibly can. Much as Clementine has the wind blowing through her beautiful golden locks, you see that Dean in his V-neck shirt, because it feels necessary, the wind is blowing through his golden chest locks as well. So he's probably just enjoying water because he's had to get his flex on today. So it's a water kind of evening, and his legs are probably propped up near like an open bowl fireplace that's just sizzling some logs.
Mm-hmm. You're nice, yeah. Because who doesn't need more heat in Miami?
That's right.
Well, it does feel nice with the ocean breeze. Just the juxtaposition. And finally, Sloan, where are you up to?
Sloan is on the water with Dean, roasting a marshmallow on his logs and his,
Phrasing?
I'm a child.
So you're in the bar roasting a marshmallow?
No, I'm closest to the sea breeze, getting that ocean, and yes, I have started a small fire inside the bar to roast marshmallows. It is a very efficient fire, so there's that.
We've come to expect her quirkiness.
I feel like she's got like a USB Bunsen burner that she's just like roasting.
Yes, this is correct. Yes. But I'm also like upgrading the Orange Grove's internet connection by just maybe rerouting some of the bandwidth from next door.
Just borrowing.
Just borrowing it.
That's why we let her roast marshmallows in the.
Mm-hmm. Just borrowing it. Mm-hmm. And Sloan she's got lots of curly hair, and it's annoyingly blowing in the wind. And I keep having
constantly doing a lot of this.
Yes, just like smoothing it back. And about like a little short, so a little, maybe like 5'2" ish, and likes to go with Miami hoodies, so very thin, not very insulating, just like good for that Miami weather.
Yeah.
But blends into the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I forgot to mention Clementine's height. She's sort of like exactly tall enough so that she can be whatever height she needs to be with the shoes that she needs to wear. You know what I mean? Like she's right in the middle there where or she's not wearing any like she can be short and she's got long legs, but if she puts on some heels, then she can appear tall as well. So
It's like 5'5".
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's good.
Would I be able to bother you all for like, let's say, literally like a couple of sentences of banter? So like Clementine and Marika are sitting near each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is this, a role-playing game?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I don't.
Or you can't be bothered with that.
Yeah, I think Marika's definitely showing deliberate impatience and is obvious impatience, and keeps kind of looking around and sort of tapping her finger on the bar, and she sort of mutters more to herself than to Clementine, "Why are they always late?"
Darling, you need to enjoy yourself and drink. And she waves over and slides up another gin and tonic.
And Marika looks at it and says, "This is not vodka."
No, but it's got flavor.
She takes a sip and kind of goes back to her vodka and her phone.
And then what's the banter like going on between Dean and Sloane?
So I delicately drop my now perfectly roasted marshmallow in a beautiful cup of hot chocolate. I know this is very, very like warm from Miami, but I'm truly enjoying it. And I successfully have pulled up the original Japanese version of Godzilla, hence the extra bandwidth for for Dean and myself. Up on.
If only you knew how much that actually impresses me out of game as well as. I'm a huge like movie monster buff, so that I'm probably like kicked back, and then when I hear the patented violin squeal going down for Godzilla's roar, I'm like, hold on, say what? Like I'm leaning into the computer at this point. Go on, tell me more.
So I think at this point, either Marika or Clementine, since the other two are busy watching Godzilla, one of you might notice a woman who kind of walks in a bit flustered, and she's currently holding holding a little bundle, a baby. And she asks the hostess where, again, you can't really hear her, but it looks like she's asking, and she looks just right in Marika and Clementine's direction and walks towards the bar and approaches just kind of quickly and says, "I'm so sorry I'm late. Thank you for waiting. The traffic here has been just awful, and parking."
Oh, you will get no lack of sympathy from me on the parking situation, darling. I totally understand. Have yourself a seat. Or maybe we can get ourselves somewhere a little bit more private. And I motion someone to come over here to, the way we typically, motion to get the room ready. And
Yeah.
Yeah, they know how we operate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. While you're waiting, would you like refreshment?
Just a water would be fine, thank you.
Of course.
And so the room gets cleared out. The hostess gathers all of you to go towards, I guess we'll call it like it's still outdoors, but it's like the corner. Let's say it's the corner of this rooftop, but it's a kind of like cabana style, so it's got like this nice roof with a nice lazy fan that's like misting and misting actual water for the heat, and gives you all some privacy. So she says,
as we walked by the way, our route to this room, we walked by Dean and Sloane, and I very nonchalantly and casually closed the laptop and said,
It's the Toho era. You don't do any better than Godzilla versus Mothra. That was 64.
and I just raised my eyebrows like I do in a friendly way, not like in a like,
Right.
come on, let's go.
And I'm like, Clementine, you are the only one allowed to touch Titania. The only one.
And as they're chatting, Marika wants to see what this woman is holding. Is it a baby?
It is a baby.
It's a baby. So I look up at her and I say, it looks like you were rushed.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is not a polite thing to say, Marika. She looks fine. I say that laughing like it's obviously trying to lighten the mood.
Yes, well, we don't see many babies in this bar, so
Yes,
But it's an adorable baby at that.
Thank you. I'm really, really sorry. I couldn't arrange for a sitter. I guess let me start from the beginning. My name is Isabel. My husband, he was a police detective. His name was Edgar Velasquez, and he was recently shot down.
oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It's been a rough couple of months. He barely had time to even really be a father. He was so invested in an investigation, and I'm worried that the investigation might be the reason that he might have been onto something, and I think he might have. Let me change this music. This is a little too happy.
Yeah. We're in an elevator talking about this in a lounge.
So he was investigating a drug cartel. He had mentioned something in the name La Misericordia. I had approached the police saying, I was trying to give them some information about it. I told them about a name that he was investigating, Alex Berganza. She pulls out a little paper, right? She reads that out to you and passes it over.
And Marika has a little notebook out and is writing meticulous notes.
But they just haven't done anything as far as I can tell. Everyone gives me the usual platitudes, but I have an instinct, right? I feel like it's being covered up, and I'm not sure, but I just want justice. I don't know. I have no idea how I would even pay any of you. I just heard that you were an alternate means of help.
Look, pay. We're not going to worry about that right now. What we're concerned about is making sure that you're taken care of.
Thank you.
And what's on this paper that she handed me?
The name Alex Berganza.
Alex Berganza. So, can you explain exactly why you feel this has been covered up?
Well, he had kept mentioning that there was some pushback inside of the precinct about pressing this investigation. He felt that there might be some corrupt elements inside of somebody might have been trying to stop him, and I think he might have pushed some buttons that he shouldn't have pushed.
Did he often share his work, details of his work with you?
No, not often. I mean, he was just very excited about this in particular. He said he was making a breakthrough. It was getting close. I guess it's a good thing that he did tell me, because at least I have something that I can share. Oh, also, before I forget, I thought this was weird. He was collecting all of these pamphlets and printouts of, I guess these are art galleries and exhibits that they're going to be at Art Basel. All of you, having lived in Miami, you all know that Art Basel is a very famous annual international art fair. That's it's staged in different cities around the world, but Miami Beach is like one of the most famous. And they sell the works of established and emerging artists, and it attracts a very large international audience.
Is it coming up?
Yes, actually. It will be in 1 week. She says, he's never been interested in art, so I don't know if this is significant. I'm sorry that I'm kind of grasping at straws here.
No, anything you have can help us. And I think that Marika will take the Art Basel, I don't know if I said that right, pamphlet, and pass it over to Sloane and kind of nod, and kind of understanding to check out this weird connection.
Yep. So I'm gonna look up Alex Bergunza.
Bergunza.
Was that it? So I'm gonna look Alex up along with any connections he might have to Art Basel.
Yeah. So this might actually, before we roll, this might take you some research time. So I would like to wrap up this scene here with Isabel. So if you have anything to tell her, she'll get out of your hair so that you can proceed.
I'll just kind of look at everyone else, see if they have questions before we continue.
Have you been approached by anybody at all? Anybody asking questions about your late husband?
Well, no, but it's hard to not feel watched and look over your shoulder because I know something, and he knew something. I don't know. I mean, obviously he was way deeper in it than me, but...
Did he have a partner that was helping him work the case?
He was also shot in the...
Right.
It's okay.
My condolences.
Thank you. Honestly, though, I really have no way of paying you the... Our life insurance wasn't exactly built up very far.
Marika holds up a hand and says, Don't worry about that. The service that we provide is leverage to make sure that you, while not being identified, get the payment you deserve for the suffering that you've had to deal with.
Okay, I don't really understand what that means, but thank you very much. Anything that can be done would be greatly appreciated.
Marika neatly flips closed her notebook and slides it into a bag, and says, "Well, if you have anything else, please, you know where to find us. We'll get working on this right away."
Yeah, I'll be staying with my mother for the time, so I would just feel better, having some company.
Mm-hmm.
So, But yes, absolutely. And she gives you her contact information and anything. So let's cut ahead. All right. So, Sloan, I hear you want to do some hackaroos.
Yes.
Go ahead and give me your intelligence plus hacker, please.
Yes, of course. That is.
While she's doing that, the chat here should know that by the end of this first job, your job, while we're doing our job, is to figure out what we're going to add another distinction to each of our characters based on how we perform, and that's your, all of you are going to do that for us. So you should be thinking about how we play our characters and what sort of distinctions we have, like how you would describe our characters in sort of everything.
All right.
So I have rolled a 12.
Pretty solid.
A 12. All right. So I roll openly. This is going to be basics. You're just doing general research. So general D6 plus D6. So I'd have to roll a perfect 12 for you. Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's a 0 because ones don't count. And that means that there's 2 opportunities. But you don't have anything particular that's about opportunities, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Then you know what? We can just call it like you get a little extra awesomeness, a little extra spice to your research. So what I can tell you that you find out is so it's a variety of galleries, and these galleries are all owned by what appear to be different shell companies. Specifically the ones that he had like some of them circled and notes being put around it, and these shell companies all don't really seem to be related in some way, but a lot of these galleries' major sales of art have been driven by an Alejandra Berganza. And yeah, you realize that Alex is short for Alejandra. So it's so she is a prolific art dealer in her 40s. Miami grown,
prolific art dealer in her 40s.
And she will be attending Art Basel.
Of course. Any particular, would I know her Art Basel schedule, like which galleries she's going to be hitting?
Yes. So her main gallery is called the Iron and Galley.
Okay. May I look up what the most expensive or like showstoppery piece is going to come through? Yeah.
I would say this is all part of that research. So you realize that the Iron and Galley was actually the gallery that was responsible for last year's headline about the banana that was duct taped to a wall that sold for $150,000.
Wow,
I'm sorry, I missed the last part.
The banana that was duct taped to a wall that sold for $150,000. They were responsible for the sale of that banana and subsequent bananas that went for increased pricing.
Increased?
Yes. People paid after somebody paid $150,000. They made more bananas duct taped to walls, and these are actual like real bananas. And they and then they purchased them, like they just appreciated in value, and so more people purchased bananas duct taped to walls.
I heard something about them going like brown within.
Because they were real bananas.
Yeah.
A couple of days.
Yeah. Well, yes, because art is ephemeral.
Yeah.
Art is so ephemeral.
It was a commentary on the ephemerality of art.
Oof.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong line of work.
Right?
Yeah,
Go
I
stick
know.
some bananas on the wall.
Yeah.
And for those of you in chat,
It's not too late.
this is actually a real story. Art Basel sold several bananas taped to walls for $150,000.
Well, I guess that'll cover your costs.
Yeah.
Of
So
running a festival.
So as you browse through the works of the Iron and Galley, like as an objective art viewer, okay, I don't know what your taste is in art, Sloan. What how would you describe your taste in art?
Sour.
Movies from the 60s.
Taste in art is probably, I say Sloan is very abstract, finds
Okay.
meaning in very little.
Right. So so the banana taped to a wall, genius, right? And then there's just like there's different paintings and sculptures, all of which are very minimalistic, meant to stir controversy about what exactly is art, and just the whole nature of purchasing outrageous prices, and the excesses of capitalism, and so that is what all of the Iron and Galley does. So like there's a red cube that is currently being priced at $700. There's $7,000. Let's be more appropriate.
I was gonna say 700
is
is cheap.
yeah. It's a red cube made of rubber. There is there's a variety of paper cups that have like they just like took scissors into them and then they could like stack them into each other into the shape of one giant cup.
Yeah.
That one's going for 50,000.
Can I say that I found one and I absolutely like fell in love with it, and it's just like a penny on a blank canvas, and it's intended to represent the effect of capitalism on the working class.
Yes.
Yes! You can make money at this, Sabrina.
It's too real.
Yes, the famed painting the famed art piece by
Sculpture.
Elliot Winston.
Of course.
Oh boy. This is by Elliot Winston.
Yeah.
Guy's a hack. And this is one that Sloan purchases? Or owns or is
No,
attracted
just
to?
admires, seems like.
Oh, and this is the big one that is showing up at the Iron and Galley.
I think so far, is the big one the penny? Is it capitalism?
You know what? Let's say yes.
Or-
Yes.
Okay.
Capitalism deconstructed.
Okay,
And it's,
so
What's
like
the name of the piece?
That is the name of the piece. Capitalism
Okay, perfect.
deconstructed, but it's with deconstructed with a K.
right. And the C is like a little sickle, like the hammer and sickle.
Yes.
You read my mind.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that
Like
one.
CK.
Yeah. No. That's the big ticket item. That one's the one that's selling for 100,000.
This is not going to be a Happy Dean mission. Something's going to happen. It's going to be like, oh, look, avert your gaze. And he's going to sneak off with the wall banana.
He gets hungry.
I'm going to walk in and plaster up old movie posters like Escape from New York or Big Trouble in Little China up on the wall.
Yeah.
Escape from New York.
I see.
In addition, on a different note, La Misericordia, they are a up and coming, or like they've been around for a while now. You've come to find out. I mean, you're not necessarily. I feel like Marika might recognize it more so since she has got more criminal connections than everybody else. But yeah, this is a fairly recent drug cartel that was an offshoot of the Marielitos, which were like these. It was a Cuban cartel that really took a lot of that really got a lot of popularity in the 80s, and or like they were really popularity, like it's a club. No, sorry, that they were really powerful in the 80s.
Notorious.
Yeah, very notorious. And so, yeah, so they still kind of have like the same tattoos that display patron saints and words and arcane symbols and stuff like that. Yeah, they one of their big exports supposedly is drugs, but of course, like even though they've done like little busts here and there, they've never really managed to trace the money and how they're acquiring it. There's very clearly a connection. There's obviously some kind of money laundering going on, right? And funny that this Alejandro Berganza was on a few occasions linked to Misericordia activity, but has never been proven.
Okay. So I'm guessing that I've relayed all of this information to the team, and and there's big screens behind me, and I've got a clicker, and it's a whole presentation that I've worked very carefully on, guys. You know, I've put a lot of work into this. And there's like little animations and graphics, and at the end when I say that there's that Alex and Misericordia have some like vague connections, there's like little tiny fireworks.
Yeah.
Like,
and all the letters pop up one at a time with typewriter sounds.
Yes. Connection.
Yeah. It's a classic PowerPoint Sloan show.
So,
You're welcome.
Presentation ends. What do you all think?
Nothing proven, hey? Well, I suppose we'll have to follow that thread.
It's good. I mean, it wasn't Toho, but it was good.
So what's our main link right now? What are we're looking for a connection between Alejandre and
Just call her Alex.
And these gangsters?
Yes. I guess that would be a start.
We can always
what
try
did
to
Isabel...
drum up.
Sorry, go ahead.
We could always try to drum up any of the files that the police officers had before they were killed in action.
So ultimately, we need to find out what happened to this lady's husband, and then do something about it. Let him
Maybe
help someone get theirs.
And if Alex... Oh, go ahead.
What if we reroute some funds moving through? Now, nobody's going to walk in with pocket change, but it looks like she's in a bit of a situation. She doesn't even have a nanny for her baby, so maybe we can help promote a sale and drive those funds directly to her.
Yeah, one thing that I should actually note, part of your presentation would definitely been like a rundown of Art Basel, right? And how it has, it literally attracts like millionaires and billionaires from all around the world that are looking to move offshore money or like whatever money they can in art. Art is the only market where prices are unregulated. So basically, that's why you can get away with selling $150,000 banana duct tape to a wall. And also, there's an anonymity to buyers and sellers that the art world maintains. And the reason for it, obviously, it makes it more difficult to track funds and how it moves. The reason that it sticks around is because they believe that it damages the market. It invades privacy of sellers and buyers, and privacy would matter if, for example, you're a seller who is going through like financial, like you're about to hit rock bottom, but you have all of these paintings and artwork that you can sell off to recuperate some of those funds. You don't want your name to come across as though, you know, they must be desperate if they're selling all of this artwork. So then therefore they sell everything anonymously or through third parties or shell companies or
Right.
Right.
yeah.
So,
Museums will also use the anonymity as well, so that they can sell. They can basically deaccession work from the gallery so that they can make money.
So Dean, are you expanding on your idea? Perhaps we can select a piece or find some obscure piece to create our own buzz about it. Maybe see if we can, if we can't get a buyer to purchase something valuable. And she takes a banana and starts eating it.
I mean, can we find out who's been making these fruit pictures, or paintings, or what have you? What's these top sellers? Maybe we can try to, I don't know, lift it and put it up on our own.
Do we have to steal the wall as well?
Well, the banana duct tape to a wall, that was already done, right? So that is
for sure.
That was last year.
Step.
That was last year. So
if we can figure out how they've been one-upping their
penny,
their line, yeah.
Again, the penny on a blank canvas is really where the next level of that has gone.
And then we could have someone on the floor, perhaps quite a talented and beautiful wordsmith herself, to help drive up the prices.
Why, whoever do you mean?
Of note, Art Basel takes place, some of it, like it takes place all over the city, but a lot of it will also take place here on Miami Beach and on Ocean Drive along different hotels and stuff. So
Maybe
you're going to be in the thick of it.
Ooh, yeah, maybe we could get the Orange Grove to host. I like that idea, Sloan.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, we don't have to necessarily find out what's the next big thing. All right, I spent a lot of time in the art dealing world in my youth, and I'll tell you what, it's there are tastemakers, and they're the ones who decide what's going to be the next big thing. It's not. Nobody's making these decisions on their own. Okay, if we can find out who those people are.
Can artificially increase a price or direct Alex's gaze.
It's like having a good agent in Hollywood, I guess. There's people out there who are going to make other people decide what is worth buying, and you just need to know those people. Your art needs to get in those people's hands.
I think ultimately, Alex is. We have to find out: is she a piece in the puzzle, or is she a perpetrator? Because it sounds like La Misericordia is ultimately responsible. But is it her doing? Is it some other? We have to find out what it is that Edgar was uncovering.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely some more pieces to this puzzle we need to find out. Selling a painting, you're gonna get some money to this mama, but money's great, and that might make her a little bit happy today. But she specifically said she wanted justice, and that don't smell like justice to me.
I think I'd need to get on the streets, try to grease some palms, figure out what we can about this gang that was involved.
Yeah, and we need to also find out what was going on with this investigation and why that was happening.
So I can do more research, I guess, to pull up the police file, or do we want to?
I don't think that's going to be something that you can just pull up like that. So you want to? You would probably have to like break into a police station and get into like their evidence files.
We have to steal a police station.
Yeah.
So I think, we need to track down some police documents and information. We want to talk to the gangs, and we want to get paid by selling a falsely inflated painting or art piece that we use tastemakers to create buzz for.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me.
Is this a closed case now? This police thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically just it's one of those that's been swept under the rug. Like, we're done here.
We might be able to use that fact and the fact that the police don't like to reopen cases to our advantage to get it. We don't necessarily have to steal anything. We could get them to give it to us. Maybe we pretend that we are investigating something related in the next county over. Mm-hmm. And we're looking for any information that they have, blah, blah, blah. We could pose as detectives.
Okay. All right, so it sounds like you've got your motions. So let's look at like you have your ideas on the chalkboard, right? One is get the evidence that they were following, hit some streets up, figure out your art scam, or at least start building the blocks for that. How do each of them look? Do you want to split up? Like, how is your attention going to be focused? You have a week until Art Basel.
Well, we probably should remain as a group if we're going to do the police thing and the gang thing. So maybe do those consecutively. What do you think?
Sure. The police thing might take the most prep. We're gonna need to look the part, but we might also need to do some sort of credentials that hopefully they won't look too closely at. That will make them convinced that we are. We got to do some fast talking a little bit so that they're not going to be like, let me look up who you are and where you're from and blah blah blah. But
maybe not that bad.
Yeah,
I look a little thuggish. I could just get picked up for some reason. You could be bringing me in, or maybe it was just he said, she said, and I just looked the part, but it's not true. Maybe have someone state that I did something and I didn't actually do it. So you call in as another department and say that they caught the guy and it was the wrong person that was sent in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking like out of game. Maybe I get in and there's a scene that's made. Like I'm the wrong guy, but then I pull a Sloan and I plug a USB in to a monitor and get her into a computer.
Could work. We could also pose as cops from another area or federal agents perhaps with an interest in the case, although I wouldn't want to draw too much attention to the case itself, so perhaps your subterfuge would be better, Dean.
Not opposed to that. I already looked the part mostly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go ahead and skip us ahead to outside of that police station.
Okay.
All right. So where is everyone? How are we, like, if our first shot doesn't necessarily need to start like outside of the police station, but like it could already be like in progress. How do we want to set this scene? Like, what's the first thing that we see as this job is underway?
So I think we have to decide right away what the crime is before we go in, so it's not just all like off the cuff. What do we want to have Dean go in as a crime for?
I think something drug related, so we can end up in the right department. I don't know if that's how police stations work, but
Yeah, I'm looking for the crime department of the police station.
Is there a bad guy area?
Yeah.
We got a drug dealer here. We need to put him in the drug dealing aisle.
Oh, you know what? Maybe Sloan, can you give me like a record? Maybe I missed I missed court date or something like that, and there is a warrant for my arrest, and I go in and I talk about I'm being followed by some guys.
Yeah.
This is great.
And that's really unassuming. I like that.
We're gonna get Dean arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could be bad.
You guys are just gonna have to figure out how to get me out.
We make our own jobs.
Okay, bye, Dean.
All right, Sloan, go ahead and give me an intelligence plus hacker roll to do some fake biometrics for Dean, or not biometrics, just fake.
The record.
Yeah.
That is a 13.
All right, so I'm gonna say this is a D8 because it's police records, and I think that's enough. D8 plus D6.
This guy's got to go in the bad guy vault.
The bad guy ball.
8.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, and that is a 5, which means that's an excellent success. So you have all of your paperwork in order to pull off this con. So before we get started, I want to take a 5-minute break just to reset my call because it's getting jittery again. I have a new computer, so next stream it should be buttery smooth. But for now, let's just take a 5-minute break and we'll continue with this part of the mission. Okay, stay tuned.
Sounds good.
Leverage.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to Leverage here on the Shadowcasters Network. We're playing the Leverage tabletop RPG based off it's a Cortex Plus system. I don't know, first time I've ever heard of it, but I'm enjoying it. I don't know how everybody else is feeling about it.
It's fun.
Yeah, right?
It's been great so far, yeah.
I think so. It's a pretty clean system, relatively.
I'm not sure
It's
if it's
fine.
as much the system that I'm enjoying or it's just the group that I'm enjoying, but I'm enjoying
They're
it.
awesome.
Both.
Here, here.
All right, so let's go back to us.
To our plan to get Dean
To
arrested.
the plan, right? So Sloan just made a whole bunch of fake credentials. No, credentials isn't the word. Was it the fake record for
A rap
Dean's,
sheet.
for
Rap sheet, yeah.
whoever Dean's persona is going to be, and your intent is to get him arrested. To find a way into and you know what, let's say because this was an extraordinary success, that you also made fake police files as well, or fake police record for like employment record for whoever you want to be the cop that walks Dean in, and that way they have access. I don't know if that's what you were intending, or if you just want it to be just Dean.
Oh, I was gonna walk in, but if somebody wants to like accompany me, then that's fine because I'll just report to a detective.
It could be. We could go as cops, or it could be like a citizen's arrest. I don't know if that's a thing in Miami.
I don't
Is
know.
it?
I don't know.
I'm
I
not
don't think so.
sure.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I
We're a
think
stand
it
your
would be-
ground state. We'll shoot you instead.
You can't arrest him, but you can kill him.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, point being that you have the ability with that extraordinary success to make to bring in a second person to whatever scheme it is that you're going to do. So.
And we'll need somebody. I was thinking that it probably should be more than Dean because we'll need somebody to distract, so Dean can get the USB in. So like all of the attention is not on Dean. We'll need like a distraction. I don't know why I can't think of the word.
Yeah.
But
Marika's a rough lady. So.
Yeah, I feel like she's like, even though she's like 98 pounds, looks like she could, knock you unconscious.
Yeah.
Like she's, yeah. So she can go in as the cop.
Yeah, she
And
has
maybe a
seen
little-
some shit. TM.
Yeah. And maybe a little more unassuming than Clementine would be. I feel like Clementine would draw some attention.
That's why I'm
by
kind of
nature
standing
of
back.
her.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want like all the guys in the precinct to be like, ooh.
Ooh, the
Let's
hot
check out
cop.
the feisty lady cop.
So I let Dean know that he's got his like profile is that of an alligator wrestler. which is very Miami.
Couldn't you just have me as like a weed dealer or something? Why would I listen to alligators?
I'm liking the alligator. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm
Is that illegal?
on the cheese. No,
You need a
that's
license to wrestle a gator here.
exactly. You do.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
And you do.
Florida's a magical place.
It's
Oh my
the
god, are you
best.
making Dean Florida Man?
Yeah. You are.
Excellent.
He's a wrestler.
Okay. I'm sure this is someone's fantasy at this point, so let's...
Oh, I fucking love this game. This is so much fun.
All right, so the scene opens, right? The doors to the precinct just go open as Dean and Marika walk in. What's the conceit? How are you starting this off?
I think I imagine Dean as not being restrained. Like he's not cuffed. What do you think? I feel like he's like
I don't think
kind of
he's
badass.
tough. I think
yeah.
Like pretending to be
assumes that-
intoxicated? Or
I think lucid, but admitting to a crime. But maybe it's a different crime than she's brought me in for.
Okay. Maybe I saw you something really basic like jaywalking, but then when they look you up, they get the gator wrestling. Or maybe
This is so a Florida Man headline.
Yeah, it
It
is.
really is.
Jaywalking gator wrestler.
Drunk Florida man is arrested for jaywalking, booked for wrestling alligators without a license.
Yeah.
I think too. I don't know. Is alligator wrestling? Does this occur like on dry land, or is it something?
Yes, it does.
It does. Okay. I was thinking if he's all like wet.
Destroyed in the
gonna
water.
say.
Oh my god.
That's maybe not the best idea.
It could be like in the mud, I think, because we have like a large part of South Florida is like Everglades, and that's usually where it occurs, is in the Everglades. So you could totally be bringing him in like covered in mud
Yeah.
and like tracking mud everywhere.
So I busted an illegal gator wrestling ring, and for some reason the closest place is Miami.
Just getting way
because
harder.
all of the other every other Florida police station is too busy. So I had to come all the way here.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
you
Tell
could have,
me,
you could have said a mud ring anywhere.
Can I what do you call it? Try to get somebody to do a flashback here.
Yes.
So
Yes, I forgot.
tell me, Dean, what made you decide that you needed to have mud all over your body before you went to the precinct?
Because I needed something to cover my semi-nude body because clothes cannot contain me. It's the next best thing.
And I think the process of it, that Dean, are you the type who would be like, all right, mud, let's do this? Or is Dean the type who would be like, ew?
No, he's a down and dirty kind of guy. He doesn't mind.
Oh, okay. I think, but I think Marika helps him a little bit with his back. She like scoops big handfuls of mud. She's like,
That was also the moment that Clementine decided that she is not participating in this.
I do wash my hands really well.
So a quick mechanical thing to note is that because Clementine triggered an establishment flashback, you can... somebody triggers it, so that was him, and you can then describe... Oh, I see. So Dean describes the flashback of him doing something, hands a plot point over to the player who triggered it, so you can hand over a plot point to Clementine to go ahead and have a D6 asset of looks the part.
Okay, yeah, then I'll do that. If it is a matter of being covered in mud, and insert petty crime here that I'm being lifted for, then sure, certainly I'm covered in mud, and maybe I fit a hand-drawn profile of an individual that has been known for wrestling alligators while intoxicated any number of times. Maybe there's a reward for me. I don't know.
So as a reminder, because I think we forgot this part, everybody starts the game with one, each session with 1 plot point. So Dean, you have 0, and Clementine has 2.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
So I think that bringing Dean in, Marika looks a little harried, and she's maybe a little sweaty, and I don't know, maybe she's got a little splattered mud for effect. And she says, "Tell me you have room for this one."
Holy hell! What's happening here?
Busted an illegal gator wrestling ring.
Man, can I just sit down somewhere? I almost got bit in and around the face. I need a drink. It's warm in here, and like he's gonna start.
All right, buddy.
All
right, buddy. Oh no. All right, into the drunk tank you go. Come on, let's go. And they just gather everybody to just basically haul you into this drunk tank.
Great. I shoot Marika the eyes like it's not supposed to happen.
Oh shit! Marika says, no. We need to process this guy right away. I'm into triple overtime right now, and I just want to get home to my kids.
Well, look, I'll confess. Just I have a thing about bars and the glass, and just can you give me a friendly face? A little wired right now.
So let's say that we'll kind of like cut from this to like just 5 minutes later, where the police like pull up the record and they're like, "Oh my god, illegal!" And like, they're like talking with Marika and say like, "So we're talking. This guy has been illegal. He's been wrestling gators without a license illegally for the past 5 years. Been caught on and off."
Yeah,
So
he seemed. The crowd was chanting his name pretty loudly, so I think he's been around for a while.
Yeah. Well, then I think we're not going to process. I mean, at this point, you said that this was happening. We're going to go ahead and we'll just go ahead and process him, not just as drunk. I mean, we're gonna have to put him in the drunk tank, I think, maybe. But I don't know what the procedure is. If you're drunk, but what is the police procedure? You're drunk and you've been convicted of a crime. Where do you go? Jail or drunk tank?
Well,
They might test you to see if you're actually drunk.
yeah, processing means he would go through like the whole, so he'd get his picture taken, he'd get the breathalyzer, they'd write down like the alcohol level and all of that stuff before putting him in jail, and then he'd like see a judge in 24 hours or something like that. But he wouldn't really directly go like into a drunk tank to sober up. He'd go through all of that stuff first.
Okay, interesting. So then, let's say Dean is being processed, and then Marika, while this is happening, and Dean, I don't know if you want to do like since you've been acting the part, sort of like you could like maybe by causing a distraction, Marika gets to like walk away and like hunt for files.
Sure. Which narratively, where am I just doing the breathalyzer, or do what's around me? Give me some context clues or anything that I can work with.
I would say they're doing breathalyzer, and I think they just finished doing fingerprints, maybe.
Okay.
Damn.
I look at the
right?
like I peer over to the results of the breathalyzer, and you probably hear Dean. Marika, you probably hear from afar. Now, fuck that! I can do better. Give it to me again. And I go for the breathalyzer. I'll get a better grade
Whoa, hey, wait. And so like there's a commotion starting. Go ahead and give me a what do we want to call this? Let's call this let's see. I think we'll call this a willpower.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, willpower plus either grifter or, I don't know, hitter, you're not being violent, so I would say willpower plus grifter. And go ahead and add any distinctions. Those are a D6. If you want to use any specialties, you can use those D8 or D4. If you want to cause a complication and get a plot point.
I will use all of the everything. So let me get this right. So I've got willpower. It's going to be a D8 and my grifter D4. Mm-hmm. Plus,
you have the looks the part.
And winging it.
Yeah, and you have looks the part. So you have 3d6.
3d6. And what else can I get? There was a complication.
So you could use a specialty. So if you want to use evaluation or disassembly, you can get a D8, an extra D8, just a D8.
Okay, cool.
Or you can get a D4, which is more likely to turn into a 1 and cause a complication, but you'll get a plot point for bringing it in. If you roll a 1.
The plot point is neat, but I think I want to use disassembly to create more of a scene here. I might even go as far as breaking the breathalyzer.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to say we've got annoyed D8, multiple cops. So D8 plus D6 plus, let's say, another 2D6.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I rolled so poorly.
Oh, yeah. And you rolled
terrible.
2 1s.
I did.
So complications. Yeah, so we're gonna say I get to make a D8.
I mean, I don't really have big dice in this pool, so.
Yeah, so I get to make a D8 complication here. Let's say that you are D8. A D8 complication, like all, probably like just arrested or monitored or something. Like it's going to be hard for you to escape.
Wasn't there a way that I could like challenge that back up? Or how does that work? I remember this from the last session where.
Yeah, you can like push your luck or something.
Yeah, wasn't there something like that?
Mm-hmm.
If you raise the stakes, you mean?
Raise the stakes.
That's it. That's what it's called.
With a face action, it's just one or the other. Like it's just one roll on either side, and whoever rolls the highest, unless the situation keeps going. But at this point, with a face action, you start, then I have to beat, which I forgot where ties weren't successful raising the stakes, right?
I can't remember that much. I'm not aware.
Damn it.
I feel like ties went to you, Oz. No matter what, but I can't remember.
Ties go to the active party for basic actions.
Active party would be Dean, so because face action, Dean starts.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yes, so tie goes to you. But
perfect.
Yes, but complication D8.
Complication, correct.
Yeah, so D8 closely monitored.
Okay. So when that later on, when we try to get out of here, that may come to bear, like as a benefit for you, Oz?
Yeah, so they'll roll a D8 to notice him trying to get away or something.
Okay. All right. But you do successfully distract, so I can do my thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Florida man wrestles 4 cops for breathalyzer to get a better grade.
I'll make you proud, Mom. Okay. So Marika's gonna take advantage of and I imagine a bunch of the other people at the precinct are sort of like mocking him and they're kind of like laughing a little. Now, if you can remind me, I'm very used to Shadowrun Anarchy where I can just make things happen. Do I have to spend a plot point to make something, like set up the structure of the precinct, or do you tell me what I see?
Let's see, plot points. You can, so it's either to include more dice, activate your talents, or to create new assets. So you can create an asset for the scene. That's a D6 asset. So that when you make a roll, you add that on.
So then can you give me a sense of
that's your
how the
creation.
Oh, okay. Can you give me a sense of how the place is structured? Like am I've got the little USB and I'm...
Yeah, I mean, you could, for the sake of not complicating it, right? It's a relatively simple police station. You can walk down some hallways, etc., and you can find the computer that you can basically find the cube that the detective used to sit at with a little bit of browsing and perusal. Luckily, a bunch of people are like looking at the commotion through a window with blinds and stuff, and they're just like laughing and munching on donuts and like, whoa, what is happening? So yeah, no, you have an opportunity to just kind of slink in, look for the cube, and sit at the computer.
Okay. All right, so I'll sneak my way in and
basically think of it as it's a cube farm. Small little cube farm.
So what I was thinking of doing is we'll do an establishment flashback with Sloan setting up essentially what's on this USB, like some sort of script that runs. When you plug it in, that will take all the files we need.
So if that's the case, then you are going to... Well, you could do it that way, or you could have Sloan be like, "Hey, do you have that thing I gave you?" And so she can
that's
activate her
right.
talent.
Yes, we can do this. And I think so. Yeah, I can spend my plot point to do you have that thing I gave you? And I would give you an extra D8 on any roll.
Using the thing
for somebody. Yeah, so if we use it during a flashback, then it's a D10. But if it's not during a flashback, it's a D.
Okay.
To use the thing to get you to your objective.
Okay, so then I'm going to, I slide in, I slink into the cube, and quickly pop the USB in.
Cool, and then flashback. Swipe. Black and white, Sloan handing a specific USB over to Marika.
It's a Boba Fett USB specifically. I'd like to. So it's got like a bobblehead on it, so that she knows specifically what you. And I in the flashback, I'm asking Marika to not forget it. And to be gentle, not to lose it because it's my favorite. But in it is the script that's on it is just that allows me to get onto their network, like a gateway, so that I can go in and pull stuff, and also so that I can delete like, any record of Dean's presence there once we're done with this.
Nice. All right, so you hand your plot point, Sloan, over to Marika. So Marika gets a second.
Perfect.
And then you now have USB asset D10. So, Marika, let's go ahead and roll me a alertness, because you're trying to do this like making sure nobody's seeing you. Alertness plus hacker plus D10 for the USB stick.
Let's do it.
And if you want to use your D6, maybe driven or something like that. And I don't know if you want to add that in.
Alertness, hacker. I like driven.
Wait, do I have the asset or does Marika have the asset?
I have it.
So I know in my notes, Marika has it.
Yeah.
The detail. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna roll for the police station. It's a secure police station, so D8.
Okay.
10.
So I've got a D8, D4, and a D10. Yeah, perfect. Ugh, not a great roll, but no ones. So that's a fail.
Okay, so the USB is failing to connect. There aren't any complications, like you're not being caught or anything like that. So you're gonna have to probably get some advice from your hacker on what to jiggle.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I think it would be by text. We have I don't know what that app is that like erases your text after you.
What?
After you send it, but we were like connected through some kind of thing, but I don't want my voice to give me away. So Sloan knows to be on standby, and I text, it's not working. What do I do?
And I say to flip it over.
Plugging it.
I reply with a GIF that's like.
No, trust me. Just flip it over and then flip it back the right way, and that should
plug
work.
it in again.
Marika rolls her eyes and says, "Still not working."
Blow
and then, oh yeah, blow on it. Blow on it.
We are running out of time. We do not have
My
time for
favorite.
this.
It's probably just lint. It's been in my pocket for a while because I carry it with me everywhere. So like blow on it.
I take it out and blow on it and put it back in.
All right, let's re-roll then. You have to beat again D8 plus D8 and 8.
Oh boy.
So same roll for you. You still have the D10 asset.
Okay.
You tried downloading more RAM. Jiggle the gigawatt.
Oh god! Oh no! This is really bad.
All right, so
We found like a glass of water and said, well, maybe I'll clean it.
One of those is a 10 even. Oh my lord.
all right, so that was 2 lower. So and you got 2 ones. So we make that complication. We ramp that up by 1. So that's a D8. A D8. What would the term be? And a D8 like not locked out. I don't want to say that, but like a D8 security alert.
Shit.
And how does it work with
So
plot
a pop
points?
up. So, well, what specifically do you mean?
Because when I get a complication, I get a plot point. Yeah.
Oh, yes, you do. Dean should have also.
Do I
gotten
get
himself a
2
plot
because I
point.
rolled 2, or is it just 1?
I believe it's just 1. I'll double
It's
check.
the one. It's for the roll, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, earning plot points is whenever you roll a 1.
Okay.
And it doesn't
So
look
that-
like they stack.
Okay. This is bad.
Okay, so but actually now that you mentioned that, I believe there's something else you can do here. You can, after any roll, this is just something to consider, you can spend a plot point to include more dice out of those you rolled in your result. Not that this would help, never mind. If you had like in the future something that you could have, actually I guess you could have done that for the first roll. Actually no, because you wouldn't have beat that either, but no, you would have. You could have spent a plot point to include a 3rd die. So like that other roll that you have up top, that's 5, 3, and then another 3, that would have been an 11 and you could have beat the hacking roll. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's something to consider. But anyway, so D8 security alert. So a pop-up shows up and has basically said you have been unauthorized entry. Basically, system. This particular user is being monitored by the Miami-Dade Police Department.
Oh, damn. Okay. So I will pop out the USB. And try to be Okay, well, I'll send another text to Sloan and be like, that really didn't work.
So, okay, may I run in and give her a newbie and cause a further distraction?
You
I've
want
got
to...
ideas. I just don't want to give it away.
Okay, guys. So you want to walk into the police station, past the cops, with no reason for walking behind the cops' desks to get to this cube.
Well, like if Marika could maybe like I'd give her a heads up and be like, all right, I'm gonna give you a new USB. If you could like come out and we can do a handoff, and then I'm gonna do something else that I
Gotcha.
to like distract. Yes.
Now, alternatively, before we go down that road, right? Marika, if you want to just manually search for files, you can still do that, and you can do like the standard like find a couple of things, print, and leave.
Yeah, I think that might not be a bad idea. I might want to use another terminal though.
Well, this is specifically Edgar's computer that you were on. At least that's how I thought. That's what I thought it was when we did this whole thing.
I'm imagining he's been. Yeah, it follows the username. I imagine, not the. Ooh. I wonder. Can we establish that I got his password from Isabel? Like maybe, or at least like a guess at his password? Can I use that as an asset and then like...
Okay.
I was imagining...
Yeah. Here's what you could do. You could spend a plot point to trigger your own establishment.
You could also spend a plot point to create a new asset.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That could be either way, whatever makes the most sense. Asset or flashback to you, Oz.
Yeah. I feel like this is one of those, like, this requires a flashback.
Fair enough.
Because I figured this might need a roll for it. I would roll probably like an intelligence plus mastermind to kind of figure out like what the password probably is based off your interaction with her. Right. Okay. So I think after then to do this flashback, I think that after I spoke with her, I met up with her a second time to get a little bit more detail and information about her and Edgar. And I think too, Marika doesn't always trust everybody, so she's kind of checking to see like if she had anything shady going on. In the process, asked a little bit about their relationship and got a little bit of information, like maybe anniversary dates or that kind of thing. Okay, I like that.
Baby's name.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if should I add closely monitored into this? I don't feel like it's probably right. That seems, well, not to vote against myself, but that kind of seems right. Fair, yeah. All right, so you're gonna have to beat 3d8s here. A 14. Okay, and I get 1d6 extra? Yes. For the, well, this is to see if, I'm sorry, pause. This is to determine if you, because you're setting up your own establishment flashback, we have to actually roll a d6 plus d6 to see if you even get this, right? And that was intelligence plus mastermind, I thought you said? Correct. Yes. So I'm setting the stakes of d6 plus now that I understand what's coming. Okay, so you have to beat a 9 and with intelligence plus mastermind to try and figure out the password. What is with your rolls, man? Yeah, right? It's ridiculous. Okay, and so can I does this count as unconventional? Using a distinction unconventional? I like that. I think that's fair. Right, and that's a D8, yeah? A D6 if it's a distinction. A D6. No, okay, lies, here we go. Lies. No, you're right. It's a D8 Distinctions are
D8.
D8, specialties are D6.
Oh, finally.
Hey!
13.
Damn. All right. So you figured out the password is like the name of their baby plus like wife's birthday. You try a couple of times, and you're pretty quickly able to like figure it out. Plus, you also like look around to see if there's anything like any remnants, and you find like a little notepad that has like the specific numbers at the end, right? Like etched into it.
Nice.
So you're like, easy. And so you're able to get into the system. And just to like skip ahead, so because we're
Sure.
already about halfway through, we'll say that you are able to just kind of browse the files casually, and you print what you need. Snatch, and we'll say leave, but we still have to figure out what you're going to do with Dean here.
Yeah.
Sloan,
good timing, Dean.
and Sloan wasn't able to erase the records here, so
That's right. I have another idea. Oh, damn it. We didn't erase the records. Maybe like last ditch, Clementine can come bail him out if it's that's like our last sort of resort if everything went sideways. I don't know.
Plan C.
yeah.
C
Plan
for Clementine. Yeah.
Because I think Marika can't really show an interest in what he's doing. She'd just be like, yeah, you got him? Okay. I'll go do paperwork for cops that in Joe's.
So yeah, Clementine, how do you want to help get Dean out of this situation?
Oh man. Okay, so he's in jail for allegedly alligator wrangling. I mean, we set it up nicely to where he's doing he's jailed for the thing that he done.
Clementine finds the loophole. It's not actually illegal in this county.
Hey.
I
Establishment
went
flashback.
too far, right? I love it.
Do an establishment flashback.
Sure, I'll give the I'll give the plot point back, and I'll do that.
All right, so you get a D6 asset of it is not actually illegal.
Yeah, the flashback was
Or
after
call
they
it
left.
loophole. D6 loophole.
After they left, Clementine's looking on the computer and looking at stuff, and she sees that, and she's like, "Huh, I hope that doesn't become a problem to our plan here." But they've already left. Okay, and then now she's like, "Problem becomes a boon." Okay. So, okay, well then she's putting on her best pantsuit, and she's gonna come in there, and she's gonna be Dean's lawyer.
Yes.
Perfect. Florida man's lawyer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What name did we say that Dean was gonna have? What was his alias here?
Name.
I don't think we gave him one.
Sloan, you made up the file. What's it say?
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Carl?
It could be Carl, or it could be something like Augustus. Like,
Augustus Carl. Okay.
yeah.
So she's gonna.
Everybody just calls
So
him Peanut.
Yeah. So
Go with
so
it.
she's got her hair all hair sprayed and curled, and she's got her pantsuit on and a briefcase, and she comes into the police precinct, and she slams her briefcase onto the front desk. She's, "I need to see my client. His name's Augustus Carl, and I need to see him right now because you've got him illegally detained, and I don't want to bring down hellfire on this precinct unless it's absolutely necessary, and that's going to be up to you. So you better make sure this happens right now."
Yes.
The front desk secretary just stares at you like. Go ahead and give me your let's see, willpower plus grifter,
Okay.
and you have your d6 of loophole.
So plus D6. I got a 12.
All right. This is, let's see. So I think this is just regular d6 plus d6. I don't think there's any bonuses here. Maybe closely monitored. He's being closely monitored. He's kind of like the talk of the station right now.
Yeah,
So
he
I'll
wasn't being
add
closely monitored until he disassembled the breathalyzer.
Right. So I'll add the d8.
All right.
6. All right. That is an extraordinary success. So,
Right.
So like we just cut to like Dean and Clementine walking out in the parking lot, and Dean's like holding on to whatever that's been like the zip ties. Just ow. The zip ties
Am I
were.
still zip tied?
No. They've been removed, but like now you're like flexing your wrists.
You all right there, Dean?
Augustus? Carl?
Hey, don't talk to me. That was Sloane's handiwork. Mud?
thought it
Was the mud necessary?
If the shoe fits, call me Gus Gus, I suppose. Then
Yeah, well, I called you an Uber. You're sure as hell not getting in my car with that mud. All right, so
put the tops down. I'd look so good.
yeah, well, all's well that ends well, I suppose. I'll see you back.
Hey, thanks for getting me out of this, Clementine. I owe you again.
Yeah, I'll add it to your tab.
Oh boy.
Nice. All right. So now let's go ahead and skip ahead back to the Orange Grove, right? So everyone's looking over the paperwork. Sorry, that's a little intense. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like the right song for this. I guess that. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay, so
Very sneaky.
Marika, I would like you to give me, as you're looking through all of this paperwork, an intelligence plus mastermind, and we'll say that this in particular, we'll call it a D6 asset that you earned, the policeman's paperwork, Edgar's paperwork.
All right.
And I think that's basically it.
Ooh, 14.
All right. This is just gonna be pretty standard D6 plus D6 roll. Nothing special there. So yeah, you're gonna beat it anyway. So you I should have given you a D8 for the criminal connections too. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So here's what you know. As you look through all of the findings, right? You realize kind of like what the scam is that they're pulling. So basically, the idea is that if the Misericordia is operating in cahoots with this art dealer, Alex Berganza, then it actually makes perfect sense. If they sell garbage art that costs 0 to make and is just totally talentless, like just who cares? The people that are going to buy this art aren't actually buying the art. They're buying the drugs. And then they're able to basically say, okay, so here's $150,000 for this banana on a wall. But instead, I'm actually, in addition to buying this banana on a wall that I can also turn around and sell later at a price if I wanted to, in addition to that, I'm also buying all of these drugs. But because it looks like art and it's all like cash and it's, secrecy, shell companies, etc., it's basically a way for the buyer and the seller to move money looking legal at high amounts of money and launder the money
Right.
using art.
Okay. Sounds good. So I will share this with the class. And I say Isabel was correct in her assumptions that Alex was somehow connected. Looks like they're cleaning up their money through ridiculous art purchases. So, Bobby, we can't hear you.
I was making a bad joke.
So if we
Well, wait, pause. This is leverage. Bad jokes are encouraged.
True, there are a lot of bad
That
jokes.
ridiculosity is in the eye of the beholder.
Fair enough.
You asked me to say it again. I wasn't going.
You could hear the shame.
All right.
So I suppose then the question is, who is Alex buying art? From whom is she buying art?
She's actually selling the art. She's
selling. Oh, so
art.
she's selling the drugs.
She's the sort of the intermediary. She's the one who makes it happen.
Yeah, and
Right.
the idea is that if the racket is that they can basically put different artists throughout Art Basel, right, or just in general, right, but they can have all of these artists, selling their garbage, and then turning basically the idea would be that people know which artists to hit up to for the scam to work, right? They would have to know which artist to hit up to pretend to buy the art from them.
Exactly. So that kind of makes sense with our next step. We need to talk to the gangs, figure out which of these artists is the correct. So we could pose as a buyer, figure out which of these artists are the ones to move drugs, and then use that to somehow,
We could just
I'm
pose
fully
the gang,
connected to the next.
right? We
Pardon?
could pose as the gang, and we could just approach Alejandra. Say that if she's the launderer, then we want in. We want to launder some money.
Mm-hmm.
So she would deal for us, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna pick up any kind of additional overhead, whatever her price may be, but that's where she makes her money.
So she takes a cut, passes the rest of the money on to us, and we supposedly deliver the merchandise to the buyer. But we won't. Mastermind!
You just got masterminded.
By the way, if we're like dead in 2 weeks because somehow Oz actually figured out how they're laundering money through these bizarre fruit exhibits,
Oh no, this is actually
this
really
is on
a thing.
record now.
Yeah.
So this for sure is already a thing.
I have no idea if the banana duct tape to a wall was specifically drugs, but I'm pretty sure there was some dirty scam shit happening as a result. Come on.
Yeah.
Nobody in their right mind.
So what's our gang name? That's gonna be fun.
So we're a new player.
Yeah.
Las arañitas. The little spiders.
I like it. What's our drug of choice, or do we just solely vend to Florida Man?
Florida Man's one of your buyers. What are you
That's fair. It's also disturbing and scary, but that's fair. The tiny spiders. I'm not opposed to it.
I like it.
So, what is now that we sort of have coalescing into a plan, what I have understood is you all want to pose as art vendors for Alex to profit off of, right?
Vendors.
Right. So that you both get overhead, but then you all keep the money from the sales of art from these people that are selling or that are buying drugs.
Yeah.
And basically make a getaway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, the one question we need to answer is who killed Edgar? Because Isabel wants, she wants justice.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know, was Alex just a person involved tangentially? Or was it the gang itself that killed him? So
I'll say this: it looks like from the records, like Alex is a big person of interest. Like it looks like she's basically it has next to her name La Artista. It comes up a lot. It means the artist in Spanish, and it just kind of just the note taking and everything. It seems like she's the mastermind of this whole.
Yeah. Besides, this was the investigation, and it feels like justice to somehow shut her operation down, or somehow cause that to happen.
Now, will you be able to do that by just taking them? Like, you have a good plan to take a cut of the funds, but what are you going to do then to like ruin the whole operation?
Yeah. In that process, we need to expose her.
exactly.
Right. What if we do like a like, you know, those art pieces, it's like a bunch of monitors and there's just like images, and we can get her to do her criminal monologue on the monitors during like the main event of the art show.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
The spiders strike again.
And we have like a little like a flash of a spider, like a gnarly looking spider in the corner. Like that's our sign off.
So Scrim, I don't know if you were able to hear that part of the plan there.
So we're gonna get her to
Monologue.
tell us her evil plan, and then we film it and display it as art. Is that what it was? I like it.
That would be next level art right there. Catching a criminal in action and exposing it to the rest of the art world.
Meta art.
It is.
All right. So it sounds like there's two prongs to this, right? One is establish yourselves as artists, probably with your own, gallery or showing, right? So you're gonna have to set yourselves up with Art Basel at the very last minute to be able to get this going, or maybe establish yourselves in a gallery that she has, and then set up the monitors and the art, and then get her to confess somehow. So you're gonna have to gain her trust to be able to reveal all of that.
Well, what if we do like a because I'm thinking like the cheesiest, like artsy fartsy folks, where you hint at like some kind of reputation. So if any of us have some kind of famous connect from living in Miami, like maybe we know a basketball player or something, and we incept the like, oh, did you hear about Augustus?
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
Wild new artist out in the Everglades, splashes like mud on the canvas.
He throws mud on gators and they get arrested for illegal wrestling.
He wrestles gators on a canvas and
Pouring two separate colored paint, one on his body and one on the gator's body.
So let's retcon that mud to be paint real quick.
Yeah.
And Sloan was there like videoing it the whole time. So she like makes this tastemaker Instagram and is like,
Oh my god. My shirt has to come off every episode now.
Nice.
Oh, that is genius. I love it.
Okay, so let's figure this one out. Should this be a roll? I don't know. I don't think this should be. I guess there should be like a setup roll to see how good this was.
Setup, yeah.
A setup roll. So I guess this would be, well, I mean, first we're going to need like all of the fake hype, right? So an online profile is definitely going to help there. So I guess Sloan, this is going to be you, and you know, you're just directing Dean to do whatever. You rent a gator.
Can you do that in Florida?
Yeah, 100%.
Of course you.
I would not be surprised.
You can rent llamas. And all kinds
Yeah.
of
You could set up a flashback showing Dean actually trying to poach an alligator. I don't know.
So I wonder too.
He
I
can
feel
get
like
arrested again.
Yeah.
as a socialite, does Clementine have a bit of a following? Is she able to kind of find the right people here?
Pause that thought. You could also go to a zoo. The zoos have gators, for sure. Like
I don't think
especially
they have
down
them available
here
for
well, no, you are gonna have to talk your way into that.
Zoo.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have to talk your way into that. But there are gators available
Well,
in zoos.
what there is available, and this
Wildlife
is like
reserves.
it's like a sad aspect of real life, but we have a lot of drug dealers down here buy weird pets. So there are places out in the Everglades that like rescue them, I guess, when they get confiscated during drug busts. So they would be most likely to have the more mild-mannered gators, like the ones that are used to people. And
Mild-mannered dinosaurs.
This is really an adventure.
Yeah.
An adventure into the psyche of Floridians.
The kindly gator that won't mind you wrestling them in paint.
What draws the? Do I just instigate, or am I like? Do I have a suit of armor made of chicken? Like,
from what I understand, they're very intelligent.
Dean will
so
have
these are
just
probably
covered
trained.
them in paint. I'm sure they will be angry enough.
yeah.
Domesticators.
It is
Oh
a
my
weird
God.
place. Domesticators, they are domesticators.
Domesticators.
A dude dressed as
I
a
know how to write this in my notes.
All right. So, who is acquiring this gator?
I guess I am. I'll steal it. I think it has to be me while they record me stealing a gator.
Yes.
Well, I meant like, where
oh
are
my
you
God,
going
I'm
for
a
this
new
gator?
age, like really hostile Banksy. This is what this is.
Yeah.
Totally. Non-anonymous. Well, I guess.
Created actual art. This is horrifying.
In 10 years, they're gonna be like, and where did gator wrestling in paint start? Well, on an obscure corner of the internet, the Shadowcasters Network.
Cool. So, tell me, how are we acquiring this gator so that we can figure out what to roll?
Okay. I have a connection that I can use.
Yes, you have
I've got
criminal
my
connections, huh?
Belgian. I've got criminal connections. So I think that a lot of the Belges will be in town for Art Basel because I think
That's
this is like
what they call them.
I think it might actually be though. Anyway,
The Belgies.
the the Bugles will be in town for the art show because that's like, you know, that's their jam. I think it's more than just drugs being exchanged under the cover of art. So
I just that I get like all of the dice for this roll, whatever it is.
yeah.
Foolhardy, winging it, clothes can't contain me. Evaluation, disassembly. I'm meant to steal alligators. This character was designed to steal fucking alligators.
You know what this character is? Bob, this character is a masterpiece, and we should sell it for $150,000.
Masterpiece, mistake. And there's some similarities. I
But you
think.
have to wear Crocs while you do it. No shirt,
my God.
obviously.
That's
onto
the real
the irony.
insult to the art.
Yeah.
Amazing.
With little teeth on them.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Let's
Who's
figure
drawing
out.
this fan art is my question. Okay,
Yeah.
so can I use my connections to give Dean extra Like, can he take that, or do I have to do it?
I'm already drawing
My
it.
D8.
Okay. First, let's do a roll for acquiring gator, right? Like getting access to gators, right? So you want to use criminal connections to get access to a gator?
That seems about right.
Okay, so let's roll. What attribute would this even be? I guess vitality
Gator
for the
acquisition.
I guess the vitality for not like allowing yourself to laugh while you're acquiring. Keeping a straight face is very important.
That's part of the art. It's not even laughing. It's just pure fear. That's how you know the artwork is
Yeah. So let's
resonating
go.
with that.
Yeah. So let's go D8 plus acquire. I guess a D10 since you're masterminding this piece of art, right?
So
Acquiring
vitality
your
and
connections.
mastermind plus my connections.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
I love the music you chose for this.
Yeah, this music's amazing. 15, but I've got a complication.
Nice. That's still great though.
Okay.
It's a
Pretty
great roll.
solid.
All right. So I'm gonna roll a. It would be a regular roll, but I think I'm gonna bump D8 to bump one up to a D8 for protected, because of alligators. You know, protect alligators. 10. All right. That's also an extraordinary success with a complication.
Nice.
So you acquire. So here, let's say this: the D6 complication is you only have a very small window of time. So we're gonna call
To
this
wrestle a
D6.
gator.
Yeah, D6 rushed. Like they give you basically like a 30 to 45 minute window to access this gator without anyone seeing you, but then you have to be gone.
Okay. Am I able to define what the big success is? Is that
Yes,
part of what I get to do?
absolutely.
So I think what I'll say is that I'm going to give Dean a little bit of a boost on this, that this very much is a mild-mannered gator. It's got a calcium deficiency, so its teeth are not as effective as most.
I'm stressing out about it.
alligators. So he's going to be able to wrestle it very well.
Yes.
Can you see that? You can't see
No,
that.
it's just all
Do
white.
that. It's all white.
I'm not
Just
gonna try hard.
redraw over it with like thick Sharpie, and then we can. All right, so fast cut to like jump cut to everybody setting up this art installation, like pop-up art installation, canvas on the ground, drag the gator in. Dean is, shirt off, covered in
That is
paint.
gator.
Gator gets dipped in paint, or gets sloshed in paint. So
I'm filming.
Dean. Yeah. Dean. Let's go with, this is going to be a vitality for sure, plus hitter.
Okay.
Vitality
And
plus
an
hitter
extra
plus
die
whatever.
for a docile alligator.
So
Well, you don't get to create an asset because of it, unless you
I
want.
don't.
like,
Okay.
No, but just I have noted that, so I don't make this gator a D8 gator. It's a D6 gator. Just
Got it.
standard
Okay.
gator.
That's I
Simple
got
gator.
it.
So I've got a D10 and a D8.
Uh-huh.
I clearly, I unless you can explain to me how I don't get all of my distinctions, I'm 3D6ing.
Uh-huh.
And what are the three? Can you remind?
Actually, wait.
Foolhardy for being reckless.
Distinctions are D8s.
Oh, are they?
So yes, unless you want to make any of them a D4 to potentially introduce a complication, and then you can get plot points out of it.
Oh god. Sure, why not, Oz? Talk me into it.
All right.
This
so,
is the time for complications.
Foolhardy, I'm reckless, winging it, just going with the flow and rolling with the punches, and clothes cannot contain me. We have to have all of the features implemented on this piece of
Yes.
artwork.
I agree. I
Can
agree.
Can I gain the specialty and evaluation for knowing how to avoid
Yes.
getting bit?
Yes, that's a D6.
This is gonna be magnificent.
I cannot wait for the
Something tells
fan
me I'm still
art
gonna
of
get a
this.
3. Watch, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna roll terribly. So I've got. All right, here we go. Okay, not bad. Not bad.
13 and no
Shabby.
complications. All right.
13
Complications.
Wrestling.
All right, so instead of it being a D8 plus D8 alligator, I mean, it still needs a D8 because it's a gator, but just a D6 because it's docile. So I would have to roll a 14 perfect to beat you.
Wow.
11. You're good. You're good. So you wrestle the alligator into submission on various canvases. They just keep getting like shoved under, and it's like, okay, quickly roll on to the next one, and then like they just slide in the next canvas, roll on to the next one, and you just do this. you do various pieces of art, also on video, to make a really sick Instagram. And this is something that you've been up to for years, and now you've been discovered. So Sloan, I would like you. Oh, wait, hold on, stop. I just realized I was supposed to get a D6, an extra D6 for rushed.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's right.
So hold on.
No, don't.
D8 plus D6 plus D6. I gotta reroll. I gotta roll this right.
Oh no. Oh.
9. You're good.
Yeah, he had to roll max to get them.
Yeah, you're good. Okay.
My heart.
Yeah. All right. So you quickly make all of this bullshit ass art. Record it. Sloan, go ahead and make me, let's do an, to sell people on this, I think a willpower, because you're gonna have to do a lot of work to like set up, you know, that this guy's been around for a while, but not like a while, right? He's a brand new artist, hot on the scene, that kind of bullshit. But you know, like really build up his profile. So let's say also to not laugh, willpower D8 plus hacker.
Okay, so that's D8 plus D10. And
then
then
you still
I'm
have your
also
D8
gonna
for computer, right?
Yeah. And then so D8 plus D10 plus D8. Son of a bitch.
Okay.
It's not great. It's not great.
All right, so I'm gonna roll a D6, but I think I'm gonna make it a D6 plus D4, for D4 for dumb and impressionable. That might be more likely to add a complication to it, but you're more likely to beat it. But I think it'd be fun. Let's see. Ah, good. Well, this would be an opportunity for you, I guess. Well, anyway, regardless, yeah. So you build up the myth and the legend of Augustus Carl, Gator wrestler.
Can I say
wrestler and
that?
artiste.
So Art Basel takes place in Miami, but also in Winwood. And so it's like to build up buzz. Winwood is a place that's like, it's very artsy and lots of graffiti and all of this stuff. So I'd like to commission a friend, like an artist friend, to like get a graffitied like alligator wrestling shot, alligator paint wrestling, with his Instagram like under it to get
Nice.
people to like go. And it's just like this very colorful like, fan art, y'all. Like if anybody wants to do this.
So you want to do I guess we call this a flashback action. Like we'll do it a flashback. It's almost like a flash middle. I don't know.
Flashback.
It's a flash
Flash
middle,
now?
right? Because it's
Flash
right.
now.
I feel like it's a setup for the next section when we're actually at Art Basel. You know what I mean? So like we'll skip ahead to Art Basel, but we'll say like this was something that was done to build up the hype, right? So go ahead and spend a plot point. You can get you know what? I don't know if I want to call this a flashback. You could just say it's a D6, right? You can spend a plot. Yeah, you can spend a plot point to just make a D6 action. Or hold on, how does it work? It's you can spend 1 plot point for a D6 that lasts the rest of the scene, or 2 D6 for it to last for the rest of the job. Or sorry, 2 plot points to last for the rest of the job. So if you want to have like D6 hype.
Do I have a plot point though? Because I gave mine to. I don't think that I have any plot points. I gave my 1 plot point away.
Well, I could do Archangel to help you out there. I can spend plot points to give a die to any other member of the crew I'm in contact with. I imagine I would be at this point.
Yeah.
So the thing about this, Archangel's written a little vaguely. I don't exactly know what type of die I'm giving her.
Well, it depends, right? It depends on the situation. What I was trying to get at was that you could spend a plot point or 2 plot points rather. And Archangel allows the team, right, to spend plot points as a whole if you're in contact together, right? So if 2 of you spend plot points, you can have a D6 asset for hype, like Augustus hype. Yeah, you have an asset. So basically, when it comes to trying to upsell this guy's work, this gator art, you have a D6.
And we get that for the rest of the job.
Yes.
Because we spent 2. I can do that for sure. If that makes sense.
Remember
for
that
me
you want to
do
keep. You remember you want to. Who is it that has to spend plot points at the end for
That's
the
me.
mastermind?
Yeah, it's me.
Per person, right?
Yeah. So I have 3. So it might be good. I guess that would translate into 3 dice, which is better at the end. So.
Yeah. So like if you spend 1 and then somebody else pitches in a second, then you can have it for the job.
It would just be to build hype.
But remember, you're going to be in Art Basel, and you're
we can
trying to
use it
sell
multiple
all of this
times.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to use it for the whole job. So up to you. Or again, you can just wait on that, and then when it's necessary in the Art Basel thing, you can do an establishment flashback, and you can set up the hype that you created, and you can just get a D6 asset that way. But for the scene, not for the whole job. All right, sounds like we're indecisive. So we will put a pin in that, and I think we'll take a second 5-minute break, and we will return. And we'll just go ahead and start right in Art Basel and sell some gator work. All right, everybody stay tuned for more leverage. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
See you soon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Shadowcasters Network, where we're playing the Leverage Tabletop RPG. And we're about to continue this job, this artsy, druggy, gatory job now. All right, so remind me, what is it that, how do you want to kick this off? Like, you have all of this art by Augustus Carl, hot new artist from Florida on the scene, right? And Gators paint extravagance. What's the where do you want to go from here? Our puzzle's rapidly approaching, and we'll say, and just to, sorry to cut you off, we'll just say, like, if you wanted to set up your own gallery, I'll just say that you can. You have the funds to just kind of like bribe the right people in Art Basel to just suddenly show up on the program, if you wanted.
We gotta make our fake gang now.
Right.
Little spiders. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I could drum up some priors for like whoever's gonna interact. Like in case they do some kind of background check, so I could drum up like arrest, or some kind of history in another country or something like that. And we can do fake tattoos on somebody.
Yeah, and you already have the fake records for Dean for Augustus Carl.
Exactly. Yeah, and it fits nicely. With the
I have a
armpiece.
record. Augustus Carl.
So the plan is that we've got this art that we're trying to sell, but we as the gang are trying to sell the art.
So my thought was that we are going to, because Alex is essentially the fence. Again, I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but she can sell that gator art. And I think I'm hearing an echo of myself in someone's mic here. might just be me, but anyway. So she can sell the gator art and then give the money to us. Like, we provide both the art and the drugs, and she's our dealer. Does that make sense?
Right, because remember, the idea is if you get in her good graces and become one of the artists in the ring, right, you are now effectively, like, you don't have to actually provide your own drugs, right? All it is that you are an artist in the circle whose sales get split between artist and Alex, and then the majority goes to the Misericordia for selling the drugs to the buyer of that piece.
Okay, I see.
We really
I
need
see.
people on the floor then, as per the role. Like, I think we need someone representing the spiders. We need the hype/taste driver. We probably need the artist on floor, which would be interesting and help drive up things like that, to actually have the authentic artist there, and then someone to monitor and record things, right? I feel like that feels accurate,
Totally.
unless I'm forgetting something.
What if the artist? So what if you're a member of the Arañitas? You have like a secret spider tattoo that you make like visible to Alex, like you pass by her as we're setting up TVs or something like that. And Clementine and I can drum up the crowd, maybe, the way that we did in that last episode when we drummed up the riot. Huh?
So
Huh?
does this? I feel like I'm missing a point here. Does all this have to go down at this art event, like some sort of weird convention jockeying thing, or could we just set up a meeting with her ahead of time?
Well, we want the meeting to make this whole thing happen because we want people at our events so we can reveal her monologue. I don't know how we would get the monologue going, though. Like, if she basically just explains if we can get her to explain everything to us as the little spiders, we can.
Yeah, I'm the representative, and that means that I've got to have some means of recording.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I can give you a gadget for that. And I will hopefully have a plot point in order to do so, because I will have called back to our riot drumming up as part of the plan, to get the crowd like talking about this brand new guy on the scene. So we can do it that way.
I think
You'll have something.
I think either way, this Alex, like, I have a hard time believing that Augustus Carl is going to be able to walk up to Alex and make this meeting happen. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, I agree. I
There would
feel
probably
like
have to be a middleman.
Augustus needs a handler.
yeah, he needs a rep, you know, to rep him to these
Clementine?
people. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know
A lawyer.
what? Right, maybe it's Augustus Carl's lawyer. She's the one who handles all his business. You know.
Agent, maybe.
Both.
Sure.
Yeah, agent lawyer.
Either way.
Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah.
All right. So then, Clementine, let's talk about setting up this meeting with Alex, right? So she has a front, right, that she's an art dealer. So you don't have to be like super sketchy about anything, like where you're going to meet and how the terms are
Right.
handled. But then at the meeting itself is when you're going to discuss the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? So,
Right.
How do you want to set this up?
I want to call her and say that I want to talk to her about a potential business opportunity that has to do with art and sales. and that's going to happen. I would like to think that we could have just had that meeting set up. just make it happen.
Well, I think she might give you a little bit of pushback real quick. She'll say like,
She's an important lady.
Art Basel. Yeah, plus Art Basel is literally like in 2 days. I don't know exactly. Like, I'm unfortunately quite busy. As a matter of fact, like her assistant is the one that like speaks to you, right? Like, she's been very busy with like handling Art Basel. I'd be sure to take a message. So I'd like to see what you say to try and muscle your way past, and then we can roll for it.
All right. Listen, sweetie. This is your boss is gonna want to hear what Carl's got to offer. Okay. I'm sure you've heard of Augustus Carl by now, right? He's been all over Instagram. He's been all over the place. He's just recently broken, and I'm representing him in his affairs. This guy's not your average thing, and I know that, what's her name again?
Alejandra.
Alejandra.
Alex.
And would I call her Alex? That's all I want to know.
She would go by Alex, yeah.
Okay, and I know that Alex, from seeing many of the dealings she's had before, that she has a very distinct, discerning taste, and that is clear that she doesn't like just any old tripe. And what we're offering, what Augustus creates, is not tripe. She brings this to this event. Mm-hmm. Not only is it going to be different and unique, but Augustus is kind of like on the tip of everyone's tongue right now, and that's gonna bring the crowd. That's gonna bring eyes and attention.
Okay, go ahead and give me a willpower plus grifter.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have any bonuses that you want to shove in.
Maybe your distinctions.
I have discerning eye as a distinction, but that's more of like me being able to notice. But maybe I could talk about that type of stuff. I don't know.
I mean, you've had a good discerning eye for things, so you know how to upsell. You know what buzzwords would upsell things, right?
Yeah.
So I could see you getting a D8 for that.
14.
Let's see. A busy D8, assistant D6.
A busy. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So extraordinary success.
That's all I get. Extraordinary success.
Yeah. She goes, please hold. And you pretty quickly are on the phone with Alex Berganza, who goes, yes, this is Alex speaking.
Alex. Oh, Ms. Berganza. I immediately regret saying that. I have just spoken to your assistant. I don't know how much information she's given you, but I have
all of it. I have a pulse on the art world, darling. I'm actually quite interested. Augustus Carl's work.
Yeah. Did you know that I had to just recently wrangle him out of an interesting situation in order so that he could continue making this art? I can't. The amount of things that he is creating, it boggles the mind.
He's quite prolific. I know. I've been following him for months.
Yeah. It's interesting that you would say that. And I believe every word of it. Yeah. Because you definitely have your finger on the pulse of the art world. So I know this is last minute, and I apologize. I sincerely do, but this is an opportunity I knew that a discerning artisan such as yourself would not want to miss. There's a little wrinkle and a little sugar to add to this that I would love to talk to you about if we could talk in person.
I think with your good success and the bonus that the assistant, what the assistant was able to just like kind of drum up quickly for Alex, she'll just go ahead and accept your offer. All right, I'd be happy to meet at the Iron and Galley. We can talk in my office.
Excellent. I'm gonna bring the artiste himself. We have some special circumstances and some extra things that I think could really benefit all of us.
Of course,
if we add to this deal.
Yes, I'll make sure to get my assistant to buy a good champagne for us to drink while we talk business.
Oh, excellent.
Hang up. Let's cut to that meeting, right?
Yeah.
So over champagne and hors d'oeuvres,
Hors d'oeuvres.
Horse divorce.
Yeah. Clementine and Dean are posing as artist and agent, and Alex is there with her assistant. Alex is a Cuban 40-year-old female. She looks like she has a very stern. You could just tell she's a shark. This woman is a shark, and she knows how to talk business and how to get to the point and cut through bullshit, right? And her assistant is like this very unaffected, on her phone constantly, glasses, short, kind of like dyed red coppery hair and black turtleneck, even though it's Miami, and like thin material, like the hoodies that we wear. Right. And she's just on her phone, like handling emails for Alex while the meeting is taking place.
And I've got my best pantsuit, maybe my second best, because I already wore the best one yesterday. And some glasses, and my hair is up in sort of a messy business bun, with a pencil in it.
So she's skimming this like portfolio book that you've arranged, right, of all of his recent work, and she closes it and says, "I know that you've been drumming up a lot of hype. This, unfortunately, it's hard for me to say that this is actually particularly valuable."
Well,
we could at best sell these for 600 apiece.
Yeah. That's I understand why you'd say that. This is it untested hotness right now, but you never know what's going to happen with that. In fact, there's been a lot of talk about going other places and whatnot. But he's just got this particular sort of aspect to his art that is interesting to a lot of dealers, certain types of dealers, that I've heard tell deal with little extra accoutrement that sometimes come with art. You know
I'll
what I
step
mean?
in really quick. My work is dangerous. You aren't even ready for the amount of money that this can pull in. And I'll step to another painting.
Sometimes
there's a certain death-defyingness to it. I mean, we can do a video installation, of course, to show him actually wrestling the gators to create this work. Drum up the price somewhat, but I'm not exactly sure what you mean by certain dealers.
Sometimes there's extra. You're buying the art, but you're getting a little bit of. there's more than just art that's coming with what it is that you're paying for. You know, are you aware of the fact that let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Augustus Carl's background here. Come on over here, Augustus. Take your shirt off for me.
My shirt is already off. It's been painted on the entire time. I take my tongue, flick it, and I'm like, the shirt's smearing away.
The assistant actually like momentarily glances up from her phone, and then if you were to keep an eye on her, she just very slowly raises her phone.
Take the picture.
Click.
It will last longer. my eyes never leave hers.
There's a problem we have with Augustus. That has made it difficult for us to sell his art. He's been in this, as you know, for a long time. But are you familiar with? Turn around, Augustus. Didn't we did something with a tattoo, right? Like a spider?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'll turn and you'll see like what's not painted is probably just up behind the ear is the spider.
Yeah.
Okay.
You familiar? Can it be lower since I asked you to take your shirt off?
Shirt was never on to begin with.
Okay, fair enough. So, are you familiar with this spider symbol right here?
How are we making her familiar with this spider symbol? We might need an establishment flashback for this one.
Yeah. Let's see, how are we making her familiar with it? Anybody want to help me out?
I thought we had decided that she was creating like a profile, a police profile on the gang, right? Was that? I think we talked about it. I don't know if we ever went through any dice rolls.
Yeah.
Right, but also considering that that's on the police side, but like someone who's been in a drug cartel should have heard about these people, right? So
unless we're fresh on the scene, maybe we moved. Augustus Carl, it could have originated as maybe it's like a German thing, like or even Russian, like if Marika's coming in,
or Belgian.
Right? Yeah, I wanted to tap my criminal connections for this one, and do the flashback.
There you go.
Okay.
Now the transfer plot points when somebody like initiates a flashback, they give the plot point. So Bobby would get the plot point from me. Is that how it works?
No. So the way. Yes, I'm giving a plot point to you for you to set up or create like an asset or something like that, and in turn, you're getting, in order to create this, you're getting a dice bonus, I think, because you've accepted that and given a plot point for it.
It would be Marika handing the plot point to Clementine.
Oh, okay.
Whoever triggers the flashback, which would be Clementine, saying, Marika, how do we set this up? What were the details, basically? All that. So by doing so, Marika does the thing, creates the D6, gives the plot point over to Clementine for triggering this flashback. Basically, it rewards players for turning to each other and saying, how are we accomplishing this? How do we do this? Like, did you do that thing I asked you?
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay, so Marika is going to call a Belgian contact, and because she knows they're going to be part of Art Basel, and she is going to. I think she just basically is going to request. She knows one of them has a meeting with Alex. That they drop the little spiders in their conversation a couple of times and act surprised when she doesn't know what they're talking about.
Okay, nice. All right, cool. Let's call that a willpower plus mastermind. That sounds right.
That works
and
for
then
me.
and you can add the D8 for criminal connections because that's a special asset that you have.
I rolled all 7s.
Okay.
Triple 7.
I don't think there's any particular. I guess it would be like a D. I'm gonna go D6 plus D6, which I wouldn't be able to beat with a 14 because I can't think of any way that this would be more complicated, right? So you convince them to just go ahead and name drop them, and so she's already aware of this. Like, she's now heard through the grapevine, right? And so she's already pretended. So Alex is basically like, oh, I see. Yes, I've been following their. I've been following. Like, I'm aware of the exploits of Las Aranitas.
Yeah, so we've been going around from place to place, and it's difficult for us to sell his art because of these connections. We just have such a hard time finding the right person who can get us these types of things. Someone who's willing to do something like that. So maybe you're not the type of person who works with people of this with this kind of a background.
But I am. I'm glad you said. I wish we had said something earlier. This meeting would have gone totally differently.
Oh, this is good news.
I would be happy to upsell the value of this art. How, what exactly is the value of, well, hold on, because they're not, okay. We can upsell the value. I'm trying to remember the scheme here. So she has all the drugs. So she would say, I can upsell this to, say, if we do enough marketing, 100,000 a piece.
That's quite a difference. What's that going to take from us?
Nothing at all. Your silence. Your discretion. Right, that's the word I was looking for.
Now, discretion comes in all shapes and sizes. But what I mean is what is this extra that needs to happen with the art? Like, my understanding is that we're supposed to, provide a little incentive, like bonus with this thing that...
The word you're looking for is overhead. An amateur. Remind me to fire you later.
Okay. Yes, artists. The artist gets 25%. I get 10%. And the remainder goes to the gallery.
All right.
To acquire further art, possibly even commission.
And to be clear, what let's said buyer of this piece of art, what exactly are they getting?
I think you know. The absolute art.
The problem is that we don't. He is an artist, okay? No, we're not pretending about that. What we're saying is that there are only certain things that he likes to associate his art with. You know.
His flavor.
She can you give me, because I assume what you're trying to do is you're trying to just straight up say the word, like drugs and shipments, etc., etc.
I don't feel like she's properly incriminated herself yet.
She's probably not going. That's the thing. She's probably not going to incriminate herself like that. Just
okay.
Right. So, and I would just say that because you have the specialty of cold reading, I will just give that to you. She's a smart cookie. Mm-hmm. So she knows to like keep herself protected and not say anything. But I think at best what she'll say is after our sales are done, we have a meet at a gallery warehouse where we distribute the goods.
All right. I think that makes me feel pretty comfortable. How about you, Augustus?
This is acceptable.
I knew we could make something happen. Thank you very much, Alex. I think I look forward to this.
Excellent. Pleasure doing business with you. So, let's skip ahead, shall we, to the actual Art Basel. So let's describe this space. Are you all setting up? You're all part of her gallery, then, right?
Okay.
So,
We're gonna set up our booth.
yeah, I feel like everybody should have some input, so we can all create the most pretentious art exhibit that we possibly can.
Yes.
Art gallery. So I'm definitely thinking the space is a it's like all of the walls have been removed from this space, and so all of the art hangs from the wood beams. So it's like deconstructed walls and everything. Yeah, everything hangs from the wood beams, and it's just insulation. It's insulation and the paintings
Dangling
on top.
art.
I feel like there's also blank canvases on the floor and buckets of paint, and people are invited to create their own art as well.
Yes.
To cover themselves in paint and wrestle each other.
Yes.
I think too that there's as you enter the space, there's a like giant open gaping
Alligator mouth.
mouth of an alligator.
Yeah.
But it's not like plastic or anything like that. It is like dangling. They're all dangling from the ceiling and like positioned very, very specifically. And as you like so you as you enter, you actually kind of like touch the teeth, and they kind of like move around and make certain sounds. And
Nice.
Cool.
And then, like, at the end where we have the video, but by the end, I mean, like, at the end of the room where we have the video of Gus arm wrestling. I was like, Dean, Gus, Bob.
Augustus. Augustus Carl.
But his friends call him Gus.
It's just like a U-shaped TV thing. So like the back part of the TVs of the U is against a wall, and then TVs come out this way. So it's like you're stepping in and experiencing the wrestling, right? And like there's speakers, and there's like the sound is very like invasive. It's splooshing paint and mud. Like,
it's somewhere like this sounds like the overhead speakers playing like sound like somewhere between moaning and animals fighting.
Yes, totally. And that's like the whole space. You just hear like.
It's very colorful and weirdly like primally primal and sexual and shirts are optional.
Yeah, shirts are optional. Everybody is, of course, being served kava in champagne flutes, which, of course, the kava is being expensed as a business expense for taxes. So they're just like handing this out, like, just have at it. So people are walking around discussing the art, going, moisture is the essence of wetness. Wetness is the essence of beauty. Looking at it and says, wow, this is very unique. This is very dangerous art.
I told you.
The world is dangerous. Yeah.
And I think Marika's circulating, and my intent is to increase the price as much as I possibly can. So I'm sidling up to people and being like, you're right, yes, it's dangerous, but the use of primary colors indicates that within danger and death lurks life and fullness. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, that's exactly what I got from it. And also I feel anger.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's gone through a lot. I can tell just from the applications of. I think the gator too. It's almost like the gator's calmer than he is.
Absolutely.
So much internal rage.
Yes, I think you have a good eye for this. Check out this piece over here, and she guides him over to each other.
It's another piece just like it, but the title is Mortality as an option.
Yeah.
Augustus doesn't choose the gator chooses him.
That's right.
All right, so tell me, what is the...
Sorry, bear back.
No worries. What's the current plan? So you're hobnobbing in this art gallery. You're trying to get people to purchase paintings. People are purchasing, I think. Actually, you know what? Should we roll? Nah. People are purchasing, right? And so like you're maybe seeing, or at the very least, people are showing interest and then they back away. Then there's other people that are like, dealing with Alexandra, purchasing, and they look like tough. They look like tough people that got dressed up for this event. Right, and so they're clearly like
too tight.
Yeah, like they're a little out of place, it looks like. But then there's also people that are dressed like super hipster and like look like they just walked out of a club or something, and then they're like, okay, we're here hanging out, and yeah, no, I totally have 100,000 to spare with my inherited funds, and so I can like go ahead and drop that on some paintings.
I'll break my trust just for this.
Yeah. So I think where do we go from here? What's the nail in the coffin here in this plan? You need to get her to confess this, but like paintings are being sold.
Well, paintings are being sold. We have already acknowledged the gang itself. I think we chalk this up as a success and arrange the interaction, right?
Yeah.
Post-show interaction.
Yeah. So we could say after the big the gallery, right? So this goes on for actually several days, right? Of people just coming in, purchasing, because this is like a 5-day long event, right? So people are going in, purchasing, and so like this whole 5 days you've been pulling off this con, right? Of this is the new hot artist in town, and just seeing person after person of questionable repute purchasing this art, and finally you get the invite for the final bonus auction at the Iron Galley warehouse.
Yeah. So what's our plan going into here? We weren't able to get the dramatic reveal we wanted during the thing. So how are we going to get it now?
Yeah, let's pause that, right? So I think
I don't think there's a way. No, you don't. I don't think you need to pause it. I don't think there's a way during the art week that we're gonna get her to do all that. She seems too profesh.
She's already agreed that once a painting sales, then we can begin negotiating from there. So if this is a multi-day event and the first painting sales, then that's transaction moving from there, unless she's waiting for the whole thing. So that's sort of up on the ST, the storyteller, to determine if this is a post event or.
Well, yeah, I figured, I guess it makes sense though that they would have daily sales, like daily movements of shipments, right? Because like a person might only be in town for a day, buy their art, and then leave back to wherever they came from. So I guess it would make sense that like after the first night,
as long as a painting sold.
Yeah. So yeah, do we want to, I guess the idea would be like maybe we could skip ahead to the warehouse, right? And then we'll at the warehouse, at this warehouse, this same group of rough-looking individuals, right, have showed up to this warehouse to begin to basically do an auction on random items like a cast iron candelabra or a ceramic cat or something like that, so that basically like you are purchasing items or lava lamp, whatever, you're purchasing an item and then it actually turns like they wheel out a crate in response. So like these wooden crates are being wheeled in addition to the art that has been purchased. So you're watching all of these like shipments being moved, people being taken into back rooms to also like, you know, finish their official deal with the exchange of cash and move on. So what do you do?
I think we find Alex, right? Once we find Alex, we determine what we end up selling in product night one, and then we negotiate for the further nights and discuss the finer details. Get the admission.
So you're in a back room, Dean and Clementine, and you are with Alex, and a crate is being given to who. Possibly a leader of another Colombian cartel, let's say of a Colombian cartel, right? And the money starts exchanging hands, basically, right? And they all start splitting it up and say, and she goes, I guess let's, how do you want to trick her into clean herself here?
That's what I'm having a tough time with. Because she seems very careful, and it's really easy from our end of it for her to just say, look, we sold it, here's the money.
We negotiate further transactions. We start talking about the origin of little spiders, which is Dutch and the Belgian, right? The klein spinnen.
Yeah. She hasn't seen much of Sloan or Marika, right?
Right.
Yeah, she hasn't met us.
Correct.
What about an angle where we're trying to like, hey, we've had some good dealings with you in this regard. What about helping us out on the other end of things? And we could have a conversation about just doing this to purely clean money and get drugs sold on the other end, you know?
Go ahead and roll your alertness plus grifter for this one.
Ooh. Okay.
And discerning eye.
You can add discerning eye, a D8 or a D4 if you want the plot point, if you get a complication. And you can add cold reading too, I think, to this.
I think we could bring Sloan in as well, since we're not actually exchanging cash, that it's going to be like we're moving money from account to account, so she can be our accountant verifying that money goes through.
So this place is full of I don't know if I want to do that. Is it too late for us to have something go really wrong?
And Marika on for protection.
So we haven't used a distinction in a bad way yet, have we?
That's right.
Dean rolled a D4. Dean rolled a D4, but he didn't get a complication.
I might roll a D4 because, you know, this is a room full of very expensive items, and discerning eye has a dark side to it, where Clementine grew up trying to make a little bit of money on the side from things like this, so she might be tempted to buy all this stuff. So I'm gonna do that. Plus, you said D6 for cold reading while I'm trying to convince.
Yeah.
Okay. I got an 11 and a complication.
Okay. I'm gonna say she is
I rolled a 4 on that D4.
She's a D10. She's a discerning businesswoman. Or rather, like illegal. Yeah, like she's discerning and she's a higher up in this, right? She's kind of like a mastermind. So I want to say D10 plus D8 on this one. No bonuses because. Let's see. 8.
Still gotcha.
All right.
And you rolled a 1 too.
Right, but you don't have anything to trigger for opportunities.
Okay.
So, in this case, you're 1, a complication. We'll say it's, in this process, you are D6. It wouldn't be suspected, but I guess maybe you would be incriminated in the discussion. Or
incriminated in the discussion?
Yeah, like the complication is in order to like get her to actually talk, you have to talk too, right? And we're talking about, I mean, we're in a room full of drugs, we can talk about drugs, right? So you're kind of like trying to coax her into it and like buddy up with her, and you kind of like in this footage, right, you drop something that like so that's gonna have to be something that Sloane is gonna have to probably like cut out somehow or cut around.
Oh, okay. I see.
Right.
So it might affect the reveal in some way.
Yeah.
Make it look less authentic.
Mm-hmm. So I think she'll say that would be fantastic. We have a lot of product to move. This art business, it's just so damn easy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like selling drugs to a baby. That's how I incriminated myself.
Yeah. Well, I think that La Misericordia and the Kleinen Spinnen. Is it Kleinen Spinnen? I miss it.
Kleine Spinnen.
Kleine Spinnen. The Klein Spinnen have a good working partnership in the future.
I'm glad. I'm elated to hear it.
And we can figure out what to do with Augustus Carl. I'm sure his work will appreciate next year.
He's got a lot more rolling around in paint to do.
Mm-hmm. He's quite successful. So I think now that you've got that confession, I think maybe it's a good time to do the wrap-up flashback, right? How did this lead up to her being taken down? So let's because I think we can set this up, right? Like the cops come in and help bust the place, right? And then we can do the wrap-up flashbacks to see how that all went down. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
I mean, do you want the cops?
Love it.
Do you want the cops to bust the place? Do you want to how do you want to handle the situation? Like, where do you want to see this ultimately? And then we'll do the wrap-up flashback to lead up to that.
To see if we can make that happen.
Right. So the goals would be, you've already kept all the money, right? So you've gotten your cut from the sales. But then in addition, you want justice, right? And, actually, in her incrimination, she should also reveal that, we were almost caught. This whole racket was almost caught. But that was taken care of. Yeah, nobody fucks with the Misericordia.
So definitely
Dead men
they
tell
get
no tales.
I feel like definitely they get busted, and then and then we send a nice unmarked package to our baby's mama, and she gets some money to help.
Well, before we get to that, right? So we're talking now about the takedown. So the takedown is, I know that the ideal takedown was that all of this was blasted on the televisions which the gallery is empty, but maybe somebody purchased the televisions and moved them out into, like, say the rooftop bar. And then that way you could, like, broadcast them there, or I don't know, like, how you want to handle this, but basically the idea is that
right.
we want to describe what happened, and then I think what, let me see, at the end of a job or at some critical point. Some cool thing. I'm sorry. Pause. I'm jumping ahead. So the idea is we all do the wrap up, right? We each do a flashback lead up to where this all ended up, right? And then so got it. Okay.
Sure.
Sorry.
Okay, so who has a plot point remaining they can add to the flashback?
I got 2 points.
Yeah, me too. But we can only give one, I think.
Right, I think
Correct.
so.
Each crew member participating in the wrap-up plays out their own individual establishment flashback. The mastermind can suggest an idea. Going around the table, each player describes their flashback. They each spend a plot point in order to take part. The mastermind can spend the plot point for the player, in which case he also gives the player his mastermind die to add to the pool of dice.
Yeah, so I should end up with all the plot points.
No, like you can give a plot point to the player so that they can do the establishment flashback with your mastermind die.
But is that instead of them spending a plot point?
Correct. Instead of.
Yeah, so I should end up with every single plot point at the end. It would make sense. But whatever. Yeah, okay. Did anybody who wants to go first?
Bob, you go first.
Sure. In that flashback of how we helped wrap up this investigation, I think it should go legit, because legitimately this is the easiest way to clean it. We just operate inside the confines of the law. Dean put an anonymous tip into the police saying that on night 2 of this event, there would be an elaborate drug deal and it was going to be captured. Just an anonymous tip. And when it gets revealed, it's displayed on the big screen so that everyone can see it. He admits to it.
All right. So go ahead and was Marika giving you the plot point, or you're just rolling yourself?
I'll just roll myself. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, unless I don't really know. Would you rather? Your mastermind is infinitely better than mine.
What dire is he rolling for his plot point, if any? Like, is that an extra one? In this case,
it sounds like you're doing an, I guess, an alertness or willpower, so D8 either way for you, plus your mastermind, because you're basically establishing like that all these, like, you're getting all of these people to, all of these cops to show up and basically do a sting on the place. No?
Yeah, and in the anonymous tip, I name drop some of the larger, more important names, like the Misericordia, or however you say that. I'm sure that I butchered that. And also including names of like Alejandra and pretty much everything that I can.
Mm-hmm. So you're doing the setup of the sting, right?
Yes.
So once they have the footage, then they can run in and take care of the situation, right?
Yes.
So let's do this. The crew members, the active party, and rolls dice first, setting the stakes. So let's go ahead and do that. We said it was alertness. Was it alert? Vitality? Well, it's getting late. I'm like starting to. A D8, one of those, right? Plus your mastermind.
Okay. So then D8, D4. Will I get bonus die?
Evaluation. I could see that working for you.
Okay. All right, so that's D8. I don't think because everything else seems fairly coordinated. Yeah, then we'll just go with that.
Okay.
Right.
Not great.
Yeah. I think this is going to be, let's see, D6 plus D6, but there was, if you're the one that's setting up the tip, I was thinking of adding closely monitored from way back, but I'm not gonna. That's mean. I don't think that makes any sense anyway. Nope. 11. So if I raise the stakes, the crew members' effects didn't have any real effect on the wrap-up. It didn't help, but it's better to let the player decide and describe why this didn't help.
So if you raise the stakes,
So
Yeah.
in this case, yeah.
definitely because I can't. Are you gonna raise the stakes?
No. I've already raised the stakes.
Oh, okay.
It's just a one.
Then,
Yeah. So this.
so I have to
this
describe how this didn't work then.
Correct.
It
It didn't help.
didn't help. Okay, it didn't help. Wow. I'm not really sure.
Maybe there's a
they just-
corrupt cop.
a corrupt
Yeah,
cop, or maybe
corrupt
they just
cop.
thought it was just like a joke call, just a kid or something, like a college student trying to break up. Or you know what? It's PETA. They just assume that it's PETA calling in trying to break up an event.
Got it.
Because I think it's the harming of an animal.
That's probably how the corrupt cop spun it too. Like, because I
Yeah.
mean, there's obviously people covering it up in the police station. So, yeah. So now the good news is that any ones in wrap-up flashbacks get left out. Like, they don't actually cause a complication. So, no big deal there.
Good news.
So that's that. So this is why it's good for Marika to spend the plot points on players, because then she
Right,
can add
yeah.
the D10.
Well, I'll spend mine on the other two because I have two left.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. What do Sloane and or Clementine want to do?
Sloan, do you have a plot point?
I believe that I do if my callback counts to the riot in the environmental episode. Otherwise,
yes.
I do not.
But I can spend mine. It's better if I spend mine and you.
Yeah, the flavor here is that Marika
Take my
as a
D10.
mastermind is like directing each of you to like put the
Yeah.
pieces in place, right? So it's better if she gets to spend the plot points. I guess you could spend a plot point too to like create your D6 asset or like your callback, right? And then she could also plot point you. I don't see why they can't both work at the same time. So if you
Right.
still want to spend your
Okay, so the yarn that I was spinning in my head was that I would have put cameras up in the warehouse prior to this meeting going down. And I also would have made sure to have all of Alex's like legit Instagram handles on hand, like the ones that she uses to get people to a gallery, like the normies, the ones not buying the drugs. And then live stream it on
Nice.
nice.
a bunch of like dummy Instagram accounts.
Love it.
And tag her right at the moment so that she's not tagged and notified like before she starts giving the speech. Tag her at the moment that she says the thing, but have live streamed it the whole time.
Cool. All right.
And also at the Miami Police's Instagram account. So that
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll call this intelligence plus hacker, and go ahead and add. You have a D10 for Marika, right? You're spending that plot point. Did I
Yeah.
understand
Oh, yeah.
that right? Okay. And then you're calling back the riling up the crowds from the our session 0 job, the fracking job. You're calling back like how you riled up a crowd, and you know how to accomplish that. So that gives you a free plot point to basically get an asset, right? So a D6, D6 for the masses, the Instagram masses, and then if you have any, I think you're also using your computer, so that's a D8. And if you have any distinctions or specialties you want to throw in there, I don't think so. Maybe Maybe if you want to use rambunctious,
Yeah, so that would be a D6?
D8
D8.
or a D4 if you. But you wouldn't get a plot point out of it, so never mind. So yeah.
Okay,
D8.
so I've got 2 D8s, a D6, and a D10. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okie dokie.
Pretty sure you'll be fine.
Yeah. It's gonna go off without a hitch.
I'm gonna roll a 4. There's a 10. Pretty good.
All right, so I'm gonna say this is a Instagram account
God,
D6, managed by an assistant, managed by a very nervous assistant, D10.
A Gen Z assistant.
Gen Z assistant. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Such a huge pool of dice too.
Well, wait.
Wow.
Do you have any more plot points? Because you can spend a plot point to include a third die, and then you can turn that into a 15.
Well, okay. So did I use my plot point on this, or did we only use Marika's plot point?
I used mine.
I had one.
Did you spend no? But you spent a plot. No, you got a free. That's right. You got the free plot point from the callback. So you still have a spare plot point in your pool.
Yeah.
So you can spend that to include another die.
Okay. So do I re-roll the same
No,
stuff?
no. What you do is you include the next highest die. So now you're including 3 dice. So your next highest die is also a 5. So now your total is 15. That's how you beat them.
And you
all.
win!
Hurrah!
Yay!
Nice.
Yay.
So,
Nice.
Instagram starts just like buzzing about like this, and like all of these like perfectly well placed cameras that were not caught have just suddenly exposed her to the world.
And I've got my idea also, which would be wherever I'm getting my plot point from. So I don't understand.
From me.
Yeah, okay. Which is that we wanted to make sure that Alex was not able to flee, that she was in a place where we could control where she was and the police could get to her easily. We would tip the police off at the same time that they got this information. We'd be like, hey, we know where she is. Come pick her up. And so to celebrate our newfound relationship with Augustus Carl, I invited her over for some celebratory drinks at the Orange Grove rooftop bar. And so I'm keeping her occupied and distracted while this is all being revealed.
Nice. Okay, so this is after. So the warehouse is where she confesses. It's recorded,
Yes.
not live. It's recorded, and then it's going to be broadcast while she's at the Orange Grove. Got it.
Right.
Okay, so you're playing distraction, and then eventually it gets. When does this get revealed?
Just sometime. It could even be the same night. It would just be sometime later. Like I could say, excellent. What a new fabulous business relationship. Why don't we come on over to a place that I know, and we can have some drinks and make raise a glass to this lucrative business relationship we've just created.
Okay, let's go ahead and roll. How is this helping? I guess is my question.
Well, that's what I explained first, is that it's getting her in a place that is where she's not going to be able to
run.
She's going to be distracted, and it's going to be more difficult to run because she's on our turf. That's because that's my signature asset is the bar. I get a D8 from that. And so I'm able to more control the situation, and we at the same time as revealing this going on.
All right, cool. Let's call this alertness plus grifter.
All right. And then plus D8. I only got a 10.
Okay. So
I was just going to roll an 11.
Did you roll my D10 for the mastermind? Is that what that D10 is?
Oh, is that another D10?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah,
So
it is.
you got to roll that right.
Okay, so I'm supposed to do D10 plus. So in addition to those 3 dice, I roll another D10. That's what you're saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will do D10 plus D10 plus
2d8.
2d8. You're right. That's more like it. 14.
All right. Okay.
Right. I gave her a D10 plus D6 before. She's still discerning. I think maybe, though, she is more trusting of you, so I'm going to knock that down to a D8 plus D6. So I'd have to roll perfect to get this. All right. Cool. Bing. So you've kept her distracted.
Super success. That's all my rolls.
Cool. So you have kept her perfectly distracted. So now we have Marika. So the crew member has given, because I failed to raise the stakes twice, the crew member gives the mastermind a D, so by which I mean Sloan and Clementine. You give a D6 asset to the mastermind for her role. Or like, so Sloan, you would have set up a D6 asset to give to Marika, which I guess in this case would be incriminating public evidence, right? And then Clementine, you can either step that up to a D8 or you can give her another D6 asset.
I think stepping it up to a D8 is probably better.
Okay. So yeah, so incriminating evidence that has festered. Festering incriminating evidence D8. So Mastermind, you now get to set up the big reveal.
Okay.
So how does this all go down?
So I think what happens is Marika sets up a situation where most of the people in the Orange Grove are not Alex's people. She makes it so that they leave for one reason or another. It's not many people she knows. She's kind of schmoozing with a couple of others. And then at a certain time with a certain signal, everybody leaves. So it's just Alex in the bar. And she's hopefully a little tipsy. It's late. It's maybe 1:30 or so, and she doesn't quite notice for a second that everybody is gone, and then she turns around and sees Marika there. And Marika has her phone out and is playing the video, watching it, and kind of chuckling to herself.
And probably like at this moment, the assistant finally runs in and she's like, we have a problem. Flips the phone over. So here, let's do this. Go ahead and roll your alertness plus mastermind. I'd say it's intelligence, but because this is really about springing it on her in the right time, right? It's for when the people are gonna, whoever the honest cops are, right, to come in and spring her.
Can I roll the 2d6 for my crew members?
Yes. Well, it was a D8.
Okay.
That got stepped up. Instead of it's not 2d6,
D8.
it's 1d8. So yeah, so alertness plus mastermind, you have your D8 from your crew members, and anything else here in your distinctions or your specialties, showmanship,
sure. Maybe. Yes, I like showmanship. That's a good
Give
one.
her a monologue. Give her a good fucking monologue.
Yeah, I've got. Yeah, I want to have a big taunting reveal. Okay, so showmanship. That's a D6. Okay.
I like the idea of you letting her try to run to get out the back door, and when she opens up the kitchen of the Orange Grove, there's a fucking alligator in the kitchen waiting.
Covered
I
in
love
paint.
that.
Yeah.
I love
Perfect.
that is a shitty roll right there. I don't have any plot points left, so. Damn, that sucks.
All right, so she's back up at D10 plus D6, and I think we're also going to add a D6 here because Clementine was incriminated in that footage. Right? So she'll be like, well, maybe you're probably going to have to run too. I don't think she would say it like that, but basically like in general, like her, I guess what she's going to say is like, are you insane?
She hasn't seen me yet. She doesn't know
You're
who I am.
insane. No. Well, she's talking, I think,
said
about Clementine. Like basically like Clementine, you all set me up, but you've only set up yourself. I'll be able to walk away from this scot-free. Here.
Oh shit.
Ooh, that's nasty.
Ah, that's so frustrating.
Our dice have been like that all night with an exception of Bobby's.
Well, the Mark's gonna get away with it, almost. The crew has done enough to blow the lid off the Mark's plan, expose the client's grievances, or spoiled the whole arrangement. The rub is that the Mark's not going to face his accuser. Luckily, there's always the next job where the crew can go up against the Mark in a different location with a new caper. Bottom line is the client should end up with some good news, even if it's not the outcome the crew wanted. So how does this go?
So Marika smirks and says, oh, well, I'll take a little bit of speculation on one person's identity for the next 2 years. Drag that through the court system and take my time doing it. But your friends who had merchandise to move, I don't think they really are going to want to have the kind of heat on them that you have right now. Doesn't really matter what the courts believe in your case. I think your business days are over.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Nice. Yeah. She basically just screams, "You're gonna," like she's panicking because there's a gator in the kitchen, right? And she's like grabbing frying pans and she's tossing like, "You're gonna pay for this."
Would you like me to call Gus for you? He'll handle that.
Veronica, quickly fetch me an Uber. And she manages to like snake out and like run down some set of stairs that she can escape from. But yeah, I mean, so you've basically dismantled this entire art smuggling ring, right? The iron and galley has gone down, right? Like it's implicated in all of this like art, all of these embezzlement and sorry, not embezzlement, money laundering using art and drugs. She gets away, but job well done.
Yeah.
And we got to give some money to Isabel, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the downturn is we didn't actually get revenge for her, but we have an option to.
Not justice, but at least terminate the operation.
Yeah, and at the very least, you did walk away with 25% of all of the paintings that you sold, which adds up at 100,000 apiece. Adds up to a nice chunk of cash that she can live off of for the next
a while.
For a good while.
Yeah, set her up.
Yeah. All right. And
there's a gator in the kitchen.
Dean's got a
gator in the kitchen.
Name is Gertrude. All right, and with that,
Gertie the gator.
The tale of Gertrude and Gus.
And so that's leverage. Whee! First session. We're definitely gonna have to figure out that wrap up, like the flashback mastermind thing, just to like get that down pat, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a fucking hilarious game.
Hilarious.
Really, really good. And excellent scheming. Funny. Like everything was just exactly like a leverage episode would be. Loved it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I know it's late, so let's just go ahead and hop right into our outros, shall we? So, Scrim, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Well, hello.
Where can we find you?
I'm Scrim. You can find me here on the Shadowcasters Network. Usually I'm around every other Monday and other projects on the go as well. I also guest on Gamers Table for Big 20, a GMing advice show on occasional Sunday evenings. So that is me.
Excellent. Bub, who are you? Where can we find you?
Hi guys, I'm Bub. I'm the Bubbernaut all over the internet. I do a lot of Twitch stuff. Right now it's like 5 stream games a week, 4 on my own channel, and 3 on my own channel, one here, one on Roll For It, and another I just kicked off my very first VTM experience as a storyteller. So kind of wild. But I'm doing like 6 to 7 games a week now, which is absolutely absurd. So
That's
come find me.
Man. Very cool. Sabrina, who are you? Where can we find you?
Hey, Sabrina here. You can find me here on Leverage. You can find Scrim on Night Witches last year, and I'm sure future things on the Shadowcasters Network, because I love these folks and I love having fun with them.
Aw. Bobby, who are you? What do you do?
Hey, my name is Bobby Frankenberger, and I'm one of the co-founders of this here Shadowcasters Network, and so you can find me here all the time. I'm doing this, and we're cranking up another show coming in February. I don't know if we're supposed to say what it is, Scrim, but if we... But,
I don't know either.
Yeah.
It's called Kids on Bikes. If you've heard of that game.
Nice.
And we're going to be playing that a couple of sessions, a short run of that, and I'm really excited about that. Also, I just recently was on a show called the America's Next Top Podcaster. It was a really intense competition show where I competed with 12 other podcasters to find out who is America's next top podcaster, and I was in it for all of the weeks that you can be in it. I made it to the end, so you should listen to all the cool stuff I did over there.
Cool.
And we're about to record our finale episode a week from tonight. So, not finale, like a reunion. You know how reality shows do that? They'll like have a reunion episode. So we're doing that. So
Nice.
it's a lot of fun.
Cool. And everybody, I'm Oz. I am the Twitch content developer here on the Shadowcasters Network. Also, check us out on YouTube. Make sure to follow us there, YouTube/Shadowcasters Network. Also, follow us on Discord. Discord, you can go to shadowcasters.network/Discord, and you can join we have 2 Discords. One is more Shadowrun focused, and then one is the Twitch live stream content. So that's the one that you want to follow if you really liked this and want to talk leverage with all of us. And yeah, follow me at Ozcore. I want more Twitter follows, thanks. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of anything else. Yeah, whatever. So we have so many actual plays on our YouTube channel, so you can check them out. I've done The Sprawl, I've done Join the Anarchy.
Thanks, Furos.
And thanks, Furos. Hell yeah. And I'm trying to think. I know I did another actual play, but it's like eluding me. I've been in some. I've been in Misspent Youth and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, come check out all of our stuff. It's really good. Anyway, on behalf of the Shadowcasters Network, goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for our next episode.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching, especially all of you who came from all of Bub's people who came.
Hell yeah! Thank you, Bub. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Love you. It's really fun. It's really fun to have everybody. All right.
Lots of new names. Bye.